Hey everybody, and welcome to the A Little Spoon Kitchen. Today we are going to be making 6 cocktails that have mezcal and tequila in them for Cinco de Mayo. I figured we've been doing the first Sunday of every month for our cooking streams, and it just so happened to fall on Cinco de Mayo. Why not? Why not do cocktails? And one cocktail takes far too little time, so I said, why not 6? We are going to be making a classic margarita. We're going to be making a Paloma, a classic Paloma. We're going to be doing a tropical margarita that has pineapple, lemongrass, ginger, citrus, all the fun flavors, even throwing a little bit of Poblano liqueur in there so that we have a little bit of a kick. We have something that I endearingly call the Rainwater, which is mezcal and Madeira with grapefruit and lime juice. It's absolutely smoky and delicious and citrusy. It's really fun. We have a Oaxaca Old Fashioned, and then we also have what I call the Smoke and Mirrors. It was a cocktail that I had in Artillery Bar in Savannah, Georgia several years ago. I still think about it. Made a copycat because I loved it so much. And that is a Blackberry Shrub syrup that gets put in with mezcal and lemon juice, a little bit of chartreuse. Very, very smoky, interesting, nuanced from start to finish. It's a really nice cocktail. So yeah, we've got a lot to go. We have a lot going on today. I'm going to be doing kind of the long form and short form of some of the syrups that are going to get used in these cocktails. A lot of the syrups that I like to use are like 24-hour processes where you kind of just put everything together and then you let it sit and macerate with sugar until it turns into a syrup. We obviously don't have time for that. So I tinkered for several weeks to come up with some syrups that are maybe not as good, but they're relatively good for these cocktails so that you can have them same day if you so choose, or you can have them in the middle of this stream with me if you so choose. So we're going to start with the syrups. I'm going to start with the ones that are kind of the short form so that we can get those working and get those moving, go back to the long forms, and then we're going to start getting into the actual making of some of the cocktails and kind of just like go down the way and then go back and then go down the way and then go back. So it may be a little hectic, but I'm going to try to keep it as organized as possible. Let's get started. So we're going to start. I know that some of us that are in here in the live, for those of you who are tuning into this at a later date and you're just coming in here and you're looking for some cocktails, this is a live stream, and I do have some people in here who are cooking along with me. The point of these videos is that I have prepped nothing, and we are literally going from start to finish. And I have all of my ingredients just whole. So we're going to start with the classic margarita first. And what we're making first is called Oleo Saccharum. And Oleo Saccharum is a mixture of citrus peel and sugar. And you essentially let the sugar sit with those peels, and it pulls all of the oils out of the skin of your citrus. And then you get a really, really vibrant just citrus flavor, whatever that citrus is, orange, lemon, lime, grapefruit, all of that. And so we're going to kind of do a shortcut version of that. It's not going to be as limey, for lack of better terminology. It's not going to be as limey as it would be if I had let it sit for 24 hours, but we're kind of getting mostly there. So what we're going to do is we're looking for about 60 grams of peels. It's usually 6 to 7 limes, depending on the size of your lime. These are a little bit on the small side, so I may need like 7 or so. But I do have my kitchen scale. I know a lot of you that cooked with me last time, including some of the people who are in here cooking with me today, do have kitchen scales. I suggest you use them. But the recipes do also have imperial measurements. So if you are looking for like a quarter cup or a half cup or something like that, tablespoons, those measurements are also included. I am going to be working a lot with grams today, especially for the syrups, because everything is built on a ratio by weight and not by volume. So I am going to be mentioning a lot of like weight in grams, but I will try my best to kind of go in and say, oh, that's a tablespoon, oh, that's a quarter cup, or something like that. Or this many limes to kind of help you guys get along through the recipes with me. So typically it's 6. I guess we'll see how much we're going to do. But basically what I'm doing is I'm taking this Y peeler here, and I'm going to just go ahead and start right from the top, and I'm going to come all the way down and then just peel each one, and that's going to go in, and I'm kind of weighing it as I go. Now I'm looking for 60 grams. I'll let you guys know if it's actually going to end up being that. Like I said, I may need more limes than 6 limes. This is like a medium lime. It's not very large. It's not a key lime. It's not super tiny. But we are off season, so they're like not the best. But basically, you're just going to kind of take your Y peeler and you're going to go from start to finish. If you have a regular peeler, that's okay too. I've just found that the Y peelers are better about not getting a ton of pith, because this white part is bitter. It's like really, really bitter. And so you're kind of like trying to keep as much pith out of your Oleo Saccharum as possible. And so I use the Y peeler because I can be a little bit more delicate, and I can kind of like, as I'm pulling, kind of pull away and like kind of be like really gentle about kind of going down the lime and going down the citrus that I'm peeling. So it just ends up with better, I end up with better Oleo. Do I have any questions? It's Chicken Lord says, it's me, I'm the white part. Dude. Okay, does anybody have any questions? We're off to an okay start, right? We're all good. Yeah. Okay, so one of my friends who's off to the camera that you cannot hear said basically like it's like if you're gonna make like a twist. So if I was gonna make like a garnish, again, a Y peeler is great to have in your kitchen if you have like large vegetables that you're like butternut squash or something that you're wanting to peel. But it's also really good for garnishes because it has such a wide surface area and you can kind of like have a lot. You can kind of go straight up and down and have that like full on motion that you kind of can't when you have like a regular peeler, because you're kind of like sideways and you're like, it's like not the best. These are really great for having like nice wide peels that you can turn into twists for garnishes. So like a Y peeler is great to have in your kitchen if you are a cocktail person. All good? Okay, cool. Okay, so for, I guess, Trinity, Lindsay, you said that you were making a classic. Are you doing a classic Paloma, or are you going to do the classic Marg? Just peeling away. You're doing the Margarita, I'm assuming, with me then, if you're already peeling. Classic Marg. Okay. So here's what I want you two to do, okay? I'm assuming, I guess here's, I have another question for you then. For both Trinity and for Lindsay. Do you guys want to stick to the recipe as written, or do you want to have a Marg today? Or do you want to do both? Because I can give you guys a heads up. Planned on doing both. Okay, cool. What about 2 Margs? Yeah. You're up for doing both. Okay, cool. So here's what I want you to do. You're going to do the 60, right? Our 60 grams here of our peels are like 6 or 7 or so limes. And that you can totally go with me on the long form. I'm starting the short form first and then going back to the long form, but I am going to peel like everything at once. And for the short form, I've written it down for me so that I can help you guys. All you need is 10 extra grams of lime peel. So you need like 1.5 extra limes, and just keep them separated. So we're gonna do, you're basically gonna make the Oleo, the full batch of Oleo for your stuff tomorrow. And then we're gonna make like a really small batch for just like an extra Marg today. So you just need an extra 10 grams of peel, or an extra like lime and a half worth of peel. So once you think you're done, keep going just a smidge. Yes, chef. Oh no. Oh yeah, these are tiny. I may get to 50 grams. The interesting thing about limes and making Oleo is the thicker the rind is, like the thicker the peel, the better the oleo will be, because if the thicker the green part is, the less pith you pull off of it. So like all of those like bumpy, gnarly ones that are like kind of dry and gross are like the best ones for oleo, but then there's like so little juice in them that it's kind of annoying, and you kind of need like a little bit of both to make it work well. But just so that you know, like the ones that you would purchase from the store, so like this guy is like a really good example. This is a great lime for juice. It's nice and plump. It's already kind of squishy. I can tell that it's going to juice really well. But the peels on these guys, when they're like really, really like shiny and taut, they're like really, really thin peels. And so you don't actually get as much oil out of them as you do with the bumpy ones. So if you're like thinking to yourself that you want like a really strong oleo, look for like all of those like bumpy limes. I just want to get drunk. That's not the purpose of this stream. Yeah, see, so I'm only at 48 grams, and I've already done 7. These are teeny. These are medium limes. Let's see. I think I need about 2 more. And then I've got enough for the full, but not for the shortcut. Okay. You're very close. You've never done cocktails, you're looking forward to making one of these. Yeah, come back to the video. Come back at another time. Like, go through, look at there are 6 recipes to choose from. You can go to the website, take a look at all of them, see which ingredients jive with you the most, and go from there. Make yourself some fun cocktails. Okay, so I've got my 60. So I'm gonna set that off to the side, and then I'm gonna do the stuff for my shortcut. So remember, I said 10. Let me get my little guy. Got my 10. The jar that you're gonna wanna use, a jar, bowl, cup, whatever, for those of you who are doing your shortcut today, you're gonna want something that's got like steep sides and is relatively narrow, but doesn't like taper at the top. Like you wanna be able to get like your hands or like kind of stuff in there and like be able to get a spatula kind of in to scoop out any of the leftover syrup. But you do want everything to kind of sit up against each other. If it's too wide of a bowl, the sugar isn't going to be like on top of the lime peels the way that you want it to be. Okay, so let's zero that out. And I need 10 grams. Cutco knives, yeah, I bought them. Oh my gosh, I didn't even remember. My cousin worked for Cutco, and I bought some knives off of him, and I love them. I'm gonna be honest, I love them. They fit my hand perfect. I have other knives that are better, more expensive knives, and my hand gets tired during prep work. The handle is just too wide for my grip. On some of the knives that I have. So I use them when I'm like trying to be like super precise, or like if I'm cutting sushi or things like that, like sashimi, I may use my like better knife. But if I'm doing just like a bunch of prep work, I go back to the Cutco every time. You sold them, but you're a terrible salesman. Yeah, and I will say, like, I mean, the Paloma, and then, like, honestly, like, if you want to do, like, a margarita that doesn't have Oleo, like, that's a super simple cocktail. The Paloma is pretty simple. I tend to complicate my stuff quite a bit because I'm, like, searching for specific flavors. And I just like having fun, like tinkering and making all the syrups and stuff like that. But there are plenty of, like, really simple cocktails out there that you can make that, like, don't take a lot of work. Okay, so I'm good here. I've got all the lime that I need. I'm going to add 30 grams of sugar to this. That's probably about, let's see, 1 cup is about 225 grams. Let's see. So it's about 2 tablespoons of sugar, something like that. Grab sugar. Nice. Are we making margarita mix from scratch? We are making something called Oleo Saccharum. Yes, we are making margarita. We are. Well, like, let's just, yes. TLDR, yes. If you want to go into technicalities, we are making Oleo Saccharum, which is like a syrup that uses peel and sugar, and the sugar pulls the oils from that citrus out of the peel, and you just get like a really, really strong flavor of the particular citrus peel that you're using. In this case, we're using limes, and then that gets mixed with lime juice, which makes something called a sherbet. And then that lime sherbet, it is what is used as your margarita mix to then mix with Cointreau and your tequila for a delicious cocktail. I hope that clarified things much more than you needed it to. So now I need about 30 grams of sugar. We're looking at, let's see, it's about 2 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon. Let's give it that. Okay. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this sit. So this is my shortcut. This is my long form. I set my long form peels off. I'm just going to try to get all of my shortcut syrups kind of going so that they have at least an hour to kind of mix and mull and get comfy and whatever the heck, so that we can come back to them and make our cocktails, and they actually like taste relatively good. So they do need a little bit of time still. It's not something that just happens in a snap. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just going to go ahead. Oh, thanks, babe. So I've got sugar in here with my peels, and I'm just going to give them a mix. You do not want to like muddle or mash this at all, because if you start really like pulverizing any of those peels, remember we have some of that pith underneath them. I very highly doubt it's like next to impossible to peel limes without getting any pith off of like on the backside of that peel. So I'm just going to kind of mix it around until I can see that the sugar is taking on a little bit of moisture and getting a little sandy. And then I'm just going to set that off to the side, and I'm going to let that sit for about 30 minutes, give or take. Honestly, the as much time as you possibly can let this sit, the better. But like 30 minutes, I would say, is like my minimum before you're kind of mixing again. Give it another 15, and then we're going to add some lime juice to this to make our sherbet, our shortcut. Okay, so you can see like that's gotten really sandy. Sugar is already sticking to those peels. Okay, you can see that it's like kind of like if you were like eating a snow cone. Kind of looks like snow cone texture. Okay, and I'm going to set that off to the side. Okay, now let's get started on the Blackberry Shrub. I'm going to move all of these limes off to the side. Do you need me? No, I can move it. That's fine. That's okay. Yep. Okay. and I'm gonna move my peels. Now we're gonna do our blackberries. Okay. I've got a bunch of them. I'm actually going to make a larger amount of these. And like I said, I'm doing kind of like a shortcut and a long form. So I think the shortcut, I'll make a bunch, and then the long one, I'll just probably like make the normal amount. But I'm going to do 90 grams, which is about a quarter cup. Okay. Let's get that. And then the same thing, we're going to stick this into a little metal bowl or a little bowl of some kind. Okay. So let's make sure that we're, yay. Not 90 grams. Okay, so I've got that, and then we need the same amount of sugar, so it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So whatever amount of blackberries you want to use, that is the equal part sugar that you're going to use. And essentially the thing that is going to change with your vinegar, when you go to put vinegar into this, because that's what a shrub is, right? A shrub is kind of like a drinking vinegar. And I know that you can like buy drinking vinegars if you are interested in just like making a shrub that you don't have to make any of the syrup for or make any of the ingredients for. You can go to the store and usually buy where you purchase your vinegars and your oils, they'll have drinking vinegar, and you can just like buy that and use that in your cocktail. And the way that a shrub works is it's got a lot of vinegar flavor in it. This syrup will not, because you will typically pour like 2 to 4 ounces of like soda water or sparkling water on top of it. And it will thin out and dilute that vinegar flavor. So you get like a little bit of fruit, a little bit of that tartness, and then a lot of that soda water. And it's just something that's like kind of spritzy-esque, right? So like if you're going for like mocktails or something like that, like it's a great way to kind of like come up with something that's interesting. That's not just straight fruit juice like a lot of mocktails can be. And in this case, we do use vinegar, but it's not going to be as much vinegar as you would find in like a drinking vinegar, which is what you would use for a traditional shrub. So this is like a shrub syrup is what I've been calling it. So you're essentially, the ripeness of your berries will determine how much vinegar you use. So your sugar and your berries are always at a 1-to-1, and then your vinegar is just kind of based on taste. And you want it to be to the point where it's like just a little bit past your point of like lemonade tartness. Like when you think about like a lemonade and you get like that acidity and you get that tartness, you want it to be just a little bit past that point, because then when you mix in your chartreuse, which is a liqueur, which is sweet, and you mix in your mezcal, and you mix in the lemon juice, that it kind of will help, like it gets diluted, and also you get a little bit of extra sweetness in there and some smokiness that's going to kind of tamp down the tartness from that vinegar. So you're really just trying to get it to the point where you're like, okay, it's tart, we're good, we're happy. And if you need to add some at the end, like you can do that too. Like if you pour everything into, I like to keep these guys on hand. They're just like little Anchor Hawking glasses. Here, I'll put it, I don't know where he's got this here. And they've just got like all sorts of measurements on them. And what you'll see me doing today is like, I like to pour cocktails in this, and then I pour the whole thing into a shaker. And that kind of gives me the freedom. I know it's not cold, so the flavor will change slightly as it dilutes when you're shaking it with ice and as it gets colder. But then I can kind of taste and get a feel for what the cocktail is going to be before I actually shake it. Because I'm making these at home and not in a restaurant, and I'm allowed to taste things. And it's okay if my fingers are in the cocktails. So we play along here. Will the vinegar make it sour? Yes. And that's kind of the point. Like the point is that the vinegar makes it sour, and then you start mixing in everything else, and it kind of brings down that flavor just enough that it's like smoky and like fruity because of that, and then it's a little acidic because of the lemon juice. You get sage gets kind of slapped and put on top of this, so you get like a really nice sage, like herbaceous scent. It's just a super nuanced cocktail. I'll probably talk even more about it as we go along. But yeah, so we've got we've got our blackberries. I gotta keep going. We've got our blackberries. I've got a little bit more than I need, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna add my sugar. Okay. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing. You will notice that I am literally doing the same thing for every single one of these. I'm putting in the fruit, putting in whatever, putting in sugar, mixing around till it gets sandy, and then setting it off to the side to sit. Like a lot of the times, I know like people will come to recipes, especially like cocktail recipes that involve syrups, and they see like, you know, it takes 24 hours to make this cocktail, and you're like, what the hell? I don't want to make a cocktail that takes 24 hours. But it's a lot of just rest time. Like a lot of it is like, hey, throw these ingredients together in like 2 minutes or less, let it sit for 24 hours and then come back to it and then make your cocktail. So it's really just a matter of like knowing that sometimes it's nice. I could make this faster on the stovetop, but it will not be the same cocktail. It won't be the same cocktail because it'll taste stewed and it won't taste like really fresh blackberries. And that's what I want. Hi, Killer. Happy Cinco. Herbaceous. I did. I said a word. Does a fruit need to come from the fridge or is it better at room temperature? Really doesn't matter. It sits for so long that it'll come to room temperature and it won't matter in the long run. If you really wanted to start working like right away, you could room temp it. But it's not going to matter in the long run. So it's a preference. It's up to you. Now I'm not going to like mash any of this yet. I will be mashing it a little bit later. Right now I'm just kind of making sure that everything is getting coated and that our sugar is getting sandy again. Okay. And then this also needs some lemon zest. So let's go ahead and get some lemon zest into this. And I've just got my microplane. Okay. So when you make the short form of this, so this is the short form, and I'll make another one. I'll make another one that is the longer version. When you make the short form of this, I like to put it into a blender. So I'll let this sit, much like the lime peels that we just did for the classic marg. I'll let this sit for about 30 minutes, and then I pour it into a blender. And I'll like kind of mash it up a little bit and just kind of pulse it to make sure that juice is out. But I don't want to fully blend it because I don't want the seeds to get like blended up into the mixture. So we kind of just like pulse until we get like a really good fruit. There we go. Okay, so that's where I'm leaving that. Okay, that's gonna go off to the side. What next? Tropical margarita. Okay. So now let's start doing our tropical margarita. And that one is going to be a little bit more intense. I'm coming back to the long form ones after we get our short form started. I just want to make sure that stuff gets moving. We will come back to these. Don't worry about it. So that is pineapple, ginger, lemongrass, and some citrus peel in sugar. So I've got a huge thing of lemongrass here. That I picked up from a local market. Gonna be showing you guys how to mess with this. I'm gonna have some banging in a little bit. What's that gonna do to my mic? Is that gonna be a problem? Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna do the lemongrass and the ginger first. And then I will move into actually. So this one is going to get cooked. And I decided to do that on the short form one for this. What I'm doing is I'm cooking the aromatics into a syrup and then adding the fresh fruit afterward. Because the aromatics aren't going to get, they'll be a little bit less pronounced, a little bit less fresh, but not enough that it is a hindrance to the cocktail. It's the pineapple that I really want to have that fresh flavor from. So that does not get cooked. That gets added kind of later after the syrup has chilled off a little bit. So basically what we're doing is we're making a lemongrass ginger citrus syrup, and then we're gonna be mashing some pineapple into it. When you're doing the long form of this, everything kind of just goes into a bag or a bowl with the sugar and sits. And you let that kind of marry until the next day, and then you use it. So we're doing things a little different for the short form version. But this way, all of these can be had today. Okay, so what you're gonna do with lemongrass, I've got a kind of woody bottom here where the roots were, and I'm going to chop off that part until I get to kind of like where the base is, and I'm going to peel off like one, maybe two layers of the bottom, so that we're kind of cleaning it a little bit off. There you go. Okay. There. Okay. I'm going to do that for both stocks. I need about 25 grams. In the syrup, in the short syrup, I'm just going to slice these guys. For the long form one, I actually like to grate the bulb portion of the lemongrass, and then once it starts getting into the leaves, it gets like harder to grate, and then I'll start slicing after that, just so that I can really, really break up the cellular structure and the fibers that are in the lemongrass, so that you get even more of that lemongrass flavor without having to add more lemongrass to it. The grating really helps. Grating also helps with ginger. The smaller the pieces, just like garlic, right? It's like the smaller the pieces, the more you break up the cellular structure of garlic, of ginger, of lemongrass, of whatever your aromatic is, the stronger and more pronounced that flavor is going to be. So like smashed garlic versus like pureed garlic, two very, very different things. Okay, I'm about to. So what you're gonna do, you can use a mallet. You have like whatever kind of mallets that you may use if you're making chicken parm or schnitzel or something like that. You can use that, or you can just use the back of your knife. No, I did not just touch the blade. You're going to flip your knife upside down, use the back of your knife, and you're just going to whack away at the lemongrass. And I'm very sorry, this may be loud, but it's got to happen, and there's nothing I can do about it. Bye! And you're just going to slowly rotate and bang. Sorry. Apologies. That was only one. I have another one to go. Basically what you're going to see is you're going to see that it's starting to split. As you bang it, it's going to get weaker. God, it smells so good. It's going to get weaker and it's going to start to split, and that's where you want it to be. You don't want to fully pulverize it, but you do want to start seeing some of those like fibrous kind of seams split. Okay, next one. Sorry, next one, and go. Okay. We're done. I promise. We're done. We're done. We're done. Okay. Huh? This is the tropical margarita. What am I most excited about? What is that? Oh, that's the lemongrass? Yeah. And so now we just chop. Cane sugar for the syrup. I was like, Carrie, that's dedication. Yeah, so now we chop. And if you want a more pronounced lemongrass flavor, then you are only going to use this white part, right? So much like spring onions, you get, I guess actually it's kind of like the opposite, right? So like the softer side flavor-wise of the spring onion is going to be like the white side, and then the greens are kind of what you use when you're doing like stir fries. And it's the same thing with lemongrasses, right? It's like you use this kind of like for cooking, and then this is the section you would use if you were going to like stir fry and like have it in your food. I'm just going to use the whole thing, but if you decide that you really want to have that lemongrass flavor come through even more so, then you can just stop once it starts to change into green and just keep using this section of however many lemongrass stalks you have. And then you can put these into like stir fries or tea or whatever else at a later date. And you don't have to use like the whole stalk. I'm just going to use the whole stalk today. Okay. Is it cool to mix citruses? Yes. Yeah, you can mix, you can do whatever you want. Oh, that is plenty. It's too much. I don't even care. We're going to do it. It's not a big deal. I'm supposed to have 25. I have 38 grams. I'm doing it. I only need one stalk. I appreciate that. The rest of it is going to go into the long form version of this. Okay, so now we've got our ginger. I'm going to mince this guy. We did lots of experimenting with the ginger. So for a while, I was just slicing it. And I just kept having to add more and more ginger in because I really wasn't getting the amount that I wanted. And I was like, screw this, I'm gonna just grate it. And I grated the ginger into the syrup. And then it was like stronger than any of the other flavors. And I wanted it to be predominantly pineapple. So I was like, I'm getting punched in the face with ginger. We can't do this anymore. So now I'm mincing it. And that seems to do a pretty good job of letting the ginger kind of like imbue the syrup in a really nice way without it being overpowering. So I'm basically, this is how I clean ginger. I'm sure you've seen this on the internet or elsewhere or learned this from your family. So you take a spoon, you're gonna take the edge of your spoon, and you're just gonna kind of go like this all the way around. Don't use a knife. You end up wasting the meat of the ginger. We don't want to do that. So now I'm just peeling it. Okay. So I've got, let's see. We need 15 grams. It's basically about a 1 to 1 to 1. Yeah, perfect. It's a 1 to 1 to 1. Why did I say 1 to 1? A 1 to 1 inch piece. So like if you're thinking about like the size, just go by like the first digit of your thumb and you want it to be a square, and that's about as much ginger as you're gonna need. 15 grams if you're using a scale. If you're going by centimeters, that's about 2.5 by 2.5 centimeters. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of slice and then mince this into pieces, and that will be my ginger. Okay. All this is going in. Okay, and then we're gonna add, oh no, more lime. I need to peel more limes. Okay, so now we get lime and we get orange. Okay. Thanks, Green Queen. I really like my hair too. I am a fan. I like the way it turned out. I like the color. I like the cut. I love the color. We love all of it. Can you use grapefruit in this? Yes. Yes. You absolutely can. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to do 15 grams. So about lime and a half to 2.5 limes, something like that. Let's zero that out. Let's call it, I have 2.5 limes written in the recipe. Depending on the size of your lime, that's going to change. Whatever feels good to you. Measure, much like garlic, measure with your heart. Okay. So I'm looking at about 2. Okay. And some orange. We need about 5 grams, which is about 1/4 of one of these Cara oranges. It could be up to like a whole orange if you have like little satsumas or something like that. But again, like it's fine to just eyeball it. And if you do want to do grapefruit or lemon or something like that, you can. It's absolutely an option. Whatever you think will taste good with your pineapple and with your poblano. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So these are all of my aromatics. All my aromatics right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some sugar to that. I'm gonna let it sit just like my lime. I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit. And then we're going to actually make a little bit of a syrup with that in a while. So let me add my sugar. I'm gonna need about, now remember, we're adding pineapple to this later. So I'm putting the full amount of sugar in, but we don't yet have all of the fruit. So it comes out to about 155 grams, which is about 2/3 of a cup of sugar. And so that is what I am currently going to be adding, is about 2/3 of a cup of sugar. And then I'm gonna add a pinch of kosher salt too. I think it brings the flavors. There's a lot of flavors going on, and I think it just helps kind of bring the flavors out and together a little bit better. Okay. We're gonna mix this up too, just like our other ones, until it gets shaggy and sandy. Salt. I'm gonna do a nice big pinch of salt. About 1/8 of a teaspoon, or 0.6 grams. If you're looking for grams, I use kosher salt. I use Diamond Crystal kosher salt. It is my favorite salt. It is the only salt I keep in the house. Different salts weigh different amounts, or sorry, different salts will weigh, if you measure by volume, they will weigh different. So be careful when you're using salts, when you're using like Morton salt. I think it's something like Morton salt is like 50% heavier than Diamond Crystal kosher salt because of the crystal structure of the salt. So when you're using it, it's really easy to like over salt if you're going like back and forth, or under salt if you're going back and forth between different salts. So just like keep one salt in your house and get used to it. And then like make sure that if a recipe provides weight measurements, use the weight measurements when you're going to salt. Diamond Crystal is choice. Okay, so now that's already looking really nice. You can barely see it. There we go. It's already looking really nice. And I'm gonna set that aside. Okay, so I'm setting this aside. We've got all of our little like maceration syrups working. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in the same order and I'm going to make the syrups as I would make them if I were gonna be making them for like tomorrow. And so what I really like to do, you do not have to do this, but if you do have one at home, I find that it makes a better syrup. I actually like to use food savers, and I will vacuum pack my stuff. You can also just stick them in a bowl and cover it with some saran wrap. That is a-okay. It works just the same as long as it's in something that is sitting and covered. That's great. So let's pull this guy out. And we're gonna come back to our lime peels that we did earlier. For Trinity and for Lindsay, we are back to our limes. Oh no, an ad break. I never thought of that. It must be why I oversalted chicken. Maybe. I am extra. Thank you. My husband just typed in that I'm extra. It's true. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just like cut up a couple bags, 3 bags, and then I'm going to make them and write on them and all of that. And you guys can follow along. If you're doing this in a bowl, just get a bowl handy. So I've got, let's see, I will probably do berries in a bowl and then do the tropical syrup in a bag. I find that it's really like the citrus peels are just like really, they turn out, the syrups from citrus peels turn out so much better when they get vacuum packed. I think it's just like there's nowhere for anything else to go but against the peels. And so it really just pulls the oils out that much better. But the berries are fine in any way that you want them to be. And also sometimes it can be really hard to vacuum pack like delicate things like berries because they will squish and then you get like too much moisture in the packs. So let me go ahead and quickly make these bags. I guess we'll do this over here. I'm literally doing 60 grams of my lime peel and 60 grams of sugar. And that is it. Okay. Today is 5/5. Okay. So we've got our lime peels, and now I'm going to set the bowl back down. We're going to weigh out 60 grams. Hi, another friend is here. Okay. And for anybody who's following along, that is about a 1/4 cup of sugar. Now, you guys will notice we've added a lot of sugar to bowls and bags and things lately. You will notice that I am using just like straight refined white sugar. If you wanted to use unrefined sugar, turbinado sugar, demerara sugar, any of those kinds, if you want to use any other kind of sugar, you can. But here's the thing that you're going to need to think about, and just keep this in mind whenever you're making your syrups. The fresher flavor that you want, the more refined you're going to want to go, because it's taking out all of those other flavors that are naturally occurring in the sugar. So that molasses, right? So the refined sugar takes all of that molasses out, and so you're getting a really clean, sweet flavor. So if you want something to taste like specifically like the thing it is, and you want it to be like bright and punchy, you're gonna wanna stick with your refined sugar. If you wanna move into unrefined sugars, you can, but just know you're gonna have a little bit of that molasses flavor, that little bit of like a caramel kind of flavor that's gonna come into play, and it will mellow out the cocktails that you're making, which is fine. It'd probably work really great in the Blackberry Shrub Mezcal cocktail. It would work great in that because you have a lot of that sweetness coming from the blackberries, you've got that smokiness from the Mezcal, and unrefined sugar would work great there. Turbinado sugar, a demerara sugar would work great in those situations. But for something like a lime classic margarita cocktail, probably not. So just keep that in mind. And then also something to keep in mind is that the crystal structure, because I know we were just talking about salt crystal structure, the crystal structure in your sugars are going to be different depending on which sugars you're using. So if you need something to break down in 24 hours or less, you're gonna want to have the smallest crystal structure, the smallest crystal size that you can possibly have. The larger the crystals, the longer it takes for them to break down. So just keep that in mind when you are making your syrups. Flavor and then time are gonna be like really important in those situations. So basically what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna kind of fold this bag and I'm gonna give it a bit of a shake. I really want that sugar. So you know how we were getting everything kind of sandy? We wanted that sugar to kind of just start clumping. I want the same thing to happen here. And so I'm just gonna kind of give it a shake, make sure that it's kind of like touching and really like folded in and throughout our peels. If you get like a big hunk of sugar that's kind of like sitting here with no peels, it's just gonna kind of stay there and it's not going to turn into syrup. So we really want to make sure that we're like nicely mixed. Okay, so I've got that kind of ready to go. I don't know where he's got this camera here. So there we go. Maybe. I'm so bad at this thing. There you go. So you can see like how mixed in that kind of is. And then I'm gonna just seal this up. Kind of loud. It's a food saver. I just vacuum packed the Oleo. And so I'll show you guys this as we move along. Like right now it's basically a puck. But as the sugar starts to melt, this will actually get like really soft and there'll be a lot of movement in this vacuum packed kind of bag. It's actually kind of cool to see it go from like something that's like rock hard into just like a really kind of like flimsy, syrupy bag. I usually will put these like in the refrigerator if I'm making Oleo. I'll just like toss them in the fridge. But if you wanted to, you could leave them on the counter overnight. Like that's not a big deal. Okay, so tropical syrup, long form tropical syrup. Let's go back to that so I can kind of get rid of some of this stuff. So we're going to do the same measurements as the short form. There's no difference. There was a difference in measurement on the short form for the Oleo Saccharum, just because like the oils don't pull out of the peel as much, and so you kind of have to tweak things in order to get it to taste right for the cocktail. But for the long and short version of our tropical syrup, it is basically the same. Okay, do we have any questions? I know I'm jumping back and forth, but just in case, does anybody have any questions? We're gonna start actually making cocktails very soon, not very long from now. So we're getting there, we're getting there. All right, let me turn this into a bag. We're getting there, I promise. Okay. So, move this out of the way. This is kind of tall. Move this off to the side. Okay, so we've got the lemongrass that we already kind of banged up earlier, and I am going to grate this for the syrup so you guys can kind of see how that works and what it looks like. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just do like individual ingredients one at a time and then toss them in the bag as I go. And then the sugar goes last. Yes, it is Kirkland. It's just water. Okay, we got our bag, got our lemongrass, and we're gonna start to grate. This, honestly, out of everything that we do today, this is the thing that tastes the longest, is the grating of the lemongrass. And if any parts just like break off, just let them fall into the bowl. It's not a big deal. Once you get to a certain point, you can't really grate anymore. And so you end up slicing it. And so like any of the larger pieces, like it's not a big deal if you have like larger pieces. It doesn't all have to be grated. And if you wanted to slice everything and not do the grating, that's also fine. I just really want to taste the lemongrass in the syrup above the ginger. So I'm grating it. So you see, we're just gonna slice that piece up. I think I've already gotten to a point where it's not gonna grate. I'm gonna go until I can't. Almost. Okay, we'll slice the rest. We've gotten past most of the white part, and now we're gonna, like the bulb is gone at the bottom, the really like nice hard part. So now we're gonna just do some slices for the rest of the amount. It would have been helpful if I had started weighing this from the beginning, but I did not. Nope, unless you want to make yourself something. Friend. Do you want to come on and make something? You could make the Paloma. There aren't any syrups or anything. You're just measuring stuff out. If you want to, you can. Aw, man. Oh, wait, I just changed the mode. Yeah, you want to be internet famous? I know. Internet famous. We're not. Okay. So we've got our lemongrass. Do you like the sound of a good chop? Me too. Yeah, the chop. It's kind of like meditation-y kind of, you know? And it's like the same way that I feel about making like pierogi or dumpling, where you just are kind of sitting and you're doing like the same steps. It's like a very repetitive, like chopping is very much like that. I used to say, so like when I used to work in the office and we would get jobs that were like stapling papers and like putting like 12 papers out and then just like doing like whatever and then stapling stuff. And I was like, this is the best because you can just shut your brain off and just like do something for an hour and a half.
All those pulls you did that I got to bind.
Ah, yeah. I lost my spoon. Yeah. Doing mindless tasks can be very fun and meditative. Okay, ginger. Okay, so we've done our lemongrass. Let's go back to this. We've done 25 grams, which is, I guess it ended up being, these were like really large stalks. So it's like somewhere between 1 or 2 stalks. And it depends too on like whether or not you're going to use the whole thing or just the bulb, like I said earlier. So you need like 1 to 2 like stalks of lemongrass. They're about as big as the ones that I have. I have lemongrass in my garden in the back, and the stalks are maybe this big. So I would need like 2, maybe 3 or so of those in order to get what I needed. I got these ones from the store because I knew that they were going to be larger, and this whole thing would go faster. I did get mine from an Asian market in town. That is where I suggest, like, if you're looking for lemongrass, that would be my first suggestion. If you're somewhere that is in a larger city and you have a really nice farmer's market, you may be able to find lemongrass at those kinds of places. But honestly, like, an Asian market is probably the first place that I would look. If you do want to attempt to do this and you do not have lemongrass like in your garden or something like that. I will also say it is super easy to propagate lemongrass. This is totally not a cooking thing. This is not, we are not cooking anymore. Now we're going to be talking about planting stuff because I am me. Where are you? I can't find, they're all mixed up. There you go. So I've had these in a jar, in this glass jar, for several days. Where do you have this? Over the ginger? Where? There. If you can see right here, I already have some roots growing from it. So basically you can grow this until it has, several roots that extend out to about here. And then just get some like bone meal, and put some bone meal and some soil and stick them right in the ground and let them grow. Botany break. Yeah, a botany break. They grow really well. You can put them in a planter. They do get pretty big. So just like be prepared for that. You can put them in a planter so that if you're in a cold weather environment, you can bring them in and out of your house. But they do need relatively full sun. But they just sit outside and they last through winter for me, which surprised me because I totally thought they were going to die this year and they didn't when it frosted. So yeah, so now you know. Okay, so let's get to this ginger. We're going to peel the ginger. Yeah, the more you know. I. We're all old enough here for that, to get that reference. Oh man. Okay. Okay. So we need about 15 grams of this. Let me zero that out. 11. And I'm doing the same thing that I did before. And I'm just going to cut this up and then slice it. Okay. And I did get some of the edge of this. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to do the same thing that we did before. And we're just going to kind of slice right down. Easy peasy. And have kind of little sticks that we're then going to mince even further. You can use some of those. I'm not going to use all those. Yeah. Or I don't think I'm going to use all of those. My husband's looking for limes. And like I said before, however small the minced pieces are, that's the amount of flavor you're going to get. If you want to be punched in the face with ginger, grate it. If you want to have a really strong, like pronounced ginger flavor in this syrup, you can mince it super small. Otherwise, you're going to want kind of like these little like mini chunks that I've done. If you want even less flavor, you could like not add it. Or you can have like slices and then just do like, circular slices. He's not cleaning. He's making himself a cocktail. He got tired of waiting for me.
Probably should do this if we're going to bottle.
Okay. Okay, so now I've got my lemongrass and my ginger. I'm gonna do, yet again, more lime. I'm not asking questions. I'm not asking questions. They are my friend. I have friends here. They are being friendly. I'm not asking questions. We've got some backpacking and squats going on in the corner. Get a room. I am not. You may do whatever over there. I am focused. I'm focused. What is it? Focused, flourishing in my lane. What is it? Yeah.
Put it on a fidget spinner.
Yeah, there'll be a stream tomorrow. Okay. So I need 15 grams of my limes, which is about 2 limes. That's gross. Do you want a whisk, hun? Do you want a whisk? Love! I like it. Okay. Almost. And then we'll get into our pineapple finally. I think our syrups are probably doing pretty well over there. I'm going to want to give those a mix in a second. So for anybody who's making the classic marg with me, it's been roughly 30 minutes or so, so it's probably a good time to give all of our macerating berries and things a mix. Okay, so we've got this, and then I'm going to go ahead and do another 5 grams, just like with the shortcut version. It's about a quarter of this orange. Okay. And then we got our pineapple. Now, I actually already have a pineapple. I know I don't like to usually do this, but I had to cut up. I was still messing around the other day, and so I have some pineapple here that I'll do. But I'm just I'll go through explaining kind of how I like to cut up pineapples for everybody, and then I'll use this stuff here to chop. So what I like to do, and I didn't even this isn't even that like process. Like I've still got the back of it. But what I like to do for pineapples is I'll chop the top off, chop the bottom off, and then once it's flat, right? Because now I've created a flat surface. I've got the top gone. I've got a flat surface here. I'll go ahead and I'll slice right down the middle, so I get a half. More friends. Okay, so I've got about a half, right? So essentially, I've sliced down the center of that. I've got a half, and then I'll chop from there. So I guess that's where we are, and that's where I'm going to be chopping from. Okay, so you only need 80 grams. If you want to go up to 100 grams, you can go up to 100 grams of pineapple. The pineapple will be even more pronounced in the syrup at that point. So it's really up to you. But this recipe calls for 80 grams, which is far less than you think it's going to be. Far less than you think it's going to be. But basically what I like to do is I like to create, I guess that was what? This was a half? I like to make eighths. And then I will cut out the center core here, that way, and then cut down the side with my knife. And now I have a piece that I can chop and have like big chunks of pineapple in my fridge for whenever we feel like eating it. Occasional laughter can be heard, yeah. They're fun friends. That's why you hear laughing. I have fun friends.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so 40 grams is, honestly, it's probably about this. That's 67 grams. No, wait, we're checking. We're checking again. That's 67 grams. I said 40. We actually need 80. Apologies. Okay, let's do there. Okay, so that's it. That's all we need. It's this much. It's like half of a eighth of a pineapple. So be forewarned. And this makes, I'm pretty sure the syrup is like, I think it makes about 4 ounces of syrup. So you can make like 4 cocktails with this because you only need an ounce of this syrup for each cocktail. So you're getting like 4 cocktails. Now you could use this syrup on like a ton of other things. Throw it on ice cream, put it in, I don't know, a salad, put it on like whatever you want to throw it on. So like it could be absolutely used for other things. But if you want to make a huge batch, you can make a huge batch. And you will not need to use, I don't even think, it would be an insane amount if you were going to use an entire pineapple. There's not enough ginger in the world for that. Okay, so now we've got everything that is going to go into our syrup. All we need is our sugar. And so I'm going to weigh out our 155 grams of sugar in a dry bowl so that the sugar doesn't stick. So again, this is like 2/3 of a cup. Okay. Are there any fish recipes on the website? I have a ceviche recipe. Does that count? There's a fish stock and a ceviche recipe. Okay. So again, we're going to just kind of give it a little bit of a mush. If this is in a bowl, use a spoon, mix it around. If you are doing the vacuum pack like this, try not to get any sugar or any moisture up here or it's not going to seal properly. So just be careful of that. But basically what I'm trying to do, let me do what I did before. I've kind of like come up with this as if I fold that and give it enough space that I can then open it and not have anything on the top and it'll still seal. I've kind of been doing that as a way to kind of get the sugar mixed around. Pineapple is wet, obviously, so you kind of want to be careful giving this too much of a mix because any of that moisture is going to stop this from, again, sealing. So there's that, and then I'm going to go ahead and just seal it. It's about to be loud for a second. Huh? You can't even hear it? Cool. Well, good. I'm glad. Spencer. I have friends He's on stream. I have friends sneaking under the camera. He crawled across the floor to get to the refrigerator.
Smile, you're on camera. You're the reflection of the
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry. Okay, let's get back to our syrups. So I'm bringing all 3 back. I'm going to bring all 3 back, and I'm just going to give these a nice mix. And just make sure that they're kind of like moving along, and that if there's any citrus peel, that they're getting kind of mixed around, and I'm kind of reintroducing it to other spots of sugar. We're not mashing anything in the citrus. Remember, we're folding. We're folding, but it's not cheese. We're just folding our sugar and our citrus. We're not mashing. We don't want bitterness to creep into this, or at least a lot of bitterness. There it goes. Come on. There we go. So you can see how much that sugar has pulled moisture from everything that was in here. And these are all aromatics. Like I don't even have a berry or like fruit in this. And it's pulled that much moisture out of everything that was in there. And then the same thing here. You can see I guess it's kind of dark down in the bottom of that. But you can see that the sugar is almost translucent because the oils are coming out of the peel. So again, I'm just going to give it a mix. Okay. There we go. Okay. I'm going to set these aside once more, and then we'll come back. For those of you who are making the classic marg with me today, we'll go ahead and we'll come back to that after I get the full version of the berry syrup shrub going, and then we can move on from there, and we'll like get that going really shortly. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do basically the same thing that I had done before, but now I'm going to take a blender out for this guy, and I'm just gonna toss it in here in the blender. I'm gonna let it sit in there until I'm ready to blend. So we're gonna do that because I don't want the syrup and stuff to kind of get stuck to the bowl. I want it to be in my blender. Okay. You guys need Karen. Okay, so this is just gonna sit in my blender off to the side, and we will come back to that. And I'm gonna take the literal same bowl that I was previously using so that I can do the full shrub. And we're gonna do, again, the 90 grams. Okay. I don't even know. Why do I have two of these? I don't even know which one is the, like, these ones look fresher. We'll do that. We'll do half and half. It'll be fine. Okay. Okay, so we've got 90. Blackberries are so yummy. And we want 90 of sugar. Oops, too much. There you go. All right, so 90 and 90, and then we need our lemon. Okay. Easy peasy. Okay, do we want to make a cocktail now? It's time. You guys want to make a Paloma?
Yes.
Okay. It's Paloma time. Okay, and now that sits. So this, okay, so actually let's cover this. This is gonna go, we're gonna cover this, and it's just gonna sit. I might, every couple of hours, I'll probably come in and just take this off and give it a little bit of a mix. And it just sits. If you wanted to put it into like a lidded mason jar, you could put it in a lidded mason jar and just give it like a shake every couple of hours. And then the next day, you're going to strain it through a fine mesh strainer, and you have your syrup. I'm going to make a Paloma so that I can get a cocktail in front of me. And then we'll move back to our classic Margarita for those of you who are making the classic marg with me so that we can then share that one. Okay, I have a I don't have a task. I have a task for a friend, if anybody would like to take part in a task. Does anybody want to get ice for me from the deep freezer? There are like 3 bags of ice in there. Just grab.
Perfect.
Pour some ice in. Hi. No, but that would have been amazing. But like, Yeah, because you guys haven't been here long enough that it would have frozen. That would have been the perfect iced situation. Dang it. Man, now I am. That would have been great. That would have been great. Do you want to get iced? Slow out. No, yeah.
So we're the literal like peanut gallery.
Yeah, you are the peanut gallery. It's like Mystery Science Theater 3000. And you guys are just like sitting there talking about me in the back.
So you're saying that no one actually knows we're here? They just
It could be a laugh track. Just people, other than seeing reflections in the microwave, when people go to the refrigerator, nobody knows that you guys are here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Okay. He totally was not in frame either, so it just looked like I pulled that out of air. We have ice. We have ice. Okay, so let's make a Paloma. It is time. And essentially, we are going to use this. Okay, let's start from the top. So a classic Paloma is traditionally grapefruit soda, lime juice, and tequila, and that is it. I cannot find grapefruit soda here. Other than Fever Tree, I'm not a huge fan of that grapefruit soda. I think it's a little too sweet. And so I made something that can be considered a Paloma, but I really appreciate it. I think it tastes really good. And I've had Palomas at other restaurants, and I know a lot of them attempt to get like a really pungent, like citrusy, bitter grapefruit flavor by using fresh juice. But sometimes they're too sweet, and sometimes they're kind of diluted, and it doesn't have a really strong flavor. So I started using grapefruit liqueur. This is Gifford's Pamplemousse liqueur. I think that it's really good for getting a hint of sweetness and then kind of like maintaining grapefruit in like every single stage of the cocktail, other than like the tequila, obviously. So we're going to use this guy. I've got, let's see, what do I want to do? I've got some fresh grapefruit. I've got fresh lime. I want to use a Blanco. I'm going to use my Código. So we're going to do a Blanco. We're going to do our liqueur. I've got some Cointreau. And then we've got grapefruit soda water. You can use regular. This is just me being extra, like my husband said earlier. And we've got some grapefruit bitters. Okay. So let me get my grapefruit so that I can juice these. Ooh. I try, honestly, if you're trying to find grapefruit at the store, you're trying to choose grapefruit, especially now that we're out of citrus season, you'll notice that you'll see a lot of grapefruits that they're really light compared to how big they are. And basically what it is, and you'll notice this the difference between when I slice into like this small guy and this bigger one, that there's going to be a huge amount of pith in this guy. And so when you're looking for grapefruit and you're in the store and you're trying to figure out which ones are going to be the best ones, what you're going to want to look for is you're going to want to look for ones that start to have a little bit of this blush color. You're going to want it to be about the same heft as like what it feels like it should be when you pick it up. Like it should feel like it's a little hefty. It shouldn't feel like cork or feel like really light. If you squeeze on it, you should have some pressure from the flesh of the fruit kind of pushing against you. If you're squeezing and it kind of feels like it's foam, it's because that pith is really thick. And then another thing is the ones that don't have a lot of pith tend to be smoother. So much like limes we were talking about earlier, when you are kind of zesting and peeling your limes, the ones that are smoother have more, are like the better ones for juicing, and the ones that are kind of like bumpy and matte and not shiny are the ones that are gonna have like a lot of pith. And sometimes you can't avoid it, but if you have a choice and you're in the store, that's kind of how you tell the difference. So let me get a bigger juicer out. And you're gonna wanna cut, you just hold kind of like where it's attached to the tree and the bottom. That's your top and your bottom, and you're gonna cut it right in between those hemispheres, the top, the north and the south hemisphere. And then you can see how little pith there is in this one. And then here's the other one. This is going to be interesting. Oh my God. Here we go. So you can see how much thicker the rind is, the pith is on that than on my other guys. So I need 3 ounces of grapefruit juice, which is about 90 milliliters if you're going by volume, or 75 grams if you're going by weight. Really depends. Okay. I'm gonna eat this piece. Yum. Okay. This is probably about what I need. It looks refreshing because it is refreshing. Okay. I think that's probably, I think that looks like more than 3 ounces. So I think we're in a good place. And like I said, I like to measure in glasses pre and then pour into the shaker. I'm not a bartender. I'm at my house. And I like to be consistent. Aw, she's... My friends say that I'm the bartender when they're here, and that's true. I like to make as many cocktails as I possibly can because it's fun, and I like playing around. Okay, so let's do 3 ounces. Okay. Ooh, maybe not. We're coming out the bottom. There we go. Okay. So I got 3 ounces of grapefruit juice. Oh, I've got a garbage can. I'm not throwing food on the floor. That's really funny. No, Chuck just goes, I'll clean it up later. He didn't even hesitate. I swear I'm not throwing things on the floor. That's funny. Oh my God. I am not. I promise I am not. I love that he didn't even stop to think about that, to be like, oh no, she's probably doing this. He was just like, I'll clean it. Oh, my poor husband. Okay. Okay, so I've got 3 ounces of this. We need some fresh lime juice. So we're going to go back to our limes from earlier. And I'm going to juice this little guy. The fun thing is that they're going to juice easier now that they don't have peels because I've peeled them.
Why is that?
Huh?
Why is that?
Why do they juice easier when they don't have a peel? Because there's no structure that you have to push against when you're peeling it. Like I could just kind of push right against the reamer and it juices the whole thing. There's going to be a lot of citrus juicing today. Okay. So I need 1/2 ounce of lime juice. And then we're going to do 1.5 ounces of tequila. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start kind of like pouring things in here as I go. Okay, so we need 1.5 ounces of my Blanco tequila. And then 1/2 ounce of our liqueur. Okay. And then we're only using 1/4 ounce of the Cointreau, which is basically 1/2 tablespoon. So I'm going to actually use that because we are nothing if not consistent. Okay. And then we're going to throw some dashes of grapefruit bitters in. Now, if for anybody who is curious about bitters, who maybe hasn't used them in the past, it's basically like, think of bitters the way that you think of like cooking with spices, right? You're cooking with salt and pepper and saffron and cumin and paprika and whatever spices you might be using. Those spices aren't typically like the point of the dish. Usually you have things like onions and garlic and tomato and chicken and like whatever else is like the main point of your dish, but those spices help develop the flavor and help create that flavor profile for your dish. And so bitters can also do that. And so you should kind of play with them the way that you play with spices. And we're gonna do 2 dashes of that. And then this is going to get shaken and poured into a glass. So I'm gonna fill this glass up with some ice. I have not been chilling my glasses. Bad me. You should chill your glasses beforehand, but we're doing it live, so it is what it is. But I've got some ice in a glass. We're gonna put some ice in the other side of my shaker. And then we are going to be shaking, and that will be loud. Today is going to be a loud stream, and there is very little that I can do about it. So, here we go. Everybody ready? Yes. I should have worn a tank top. Okay. And then I'm just going to double strain so that I'm getting all that pulp out. We may have too much cocktail for this glass. Yo. Huh. Well, I put too much ice in it. It's good without the soda water, but now you're going to add about 1 ounce to 2 ounces of soda water in your glass. So where's my soda water? That's good. Okay. I've had about 1 ounce or so of it. So now we're just going to top with our soda water. And there is your Paloma. Congratulations. We've done it. That's really good. I love it when the recipes turn out well. I guess that's the whole point of development though, right? Here, let's dump this. Yay! Cinco de Drinko. Yep. I mean, why not? When you do cooking streams and it just happens to land on Cinco de Mayo, you have to make it. It's imperative. You just immediately make it a cocktail stream. Garnish, lime, grapefruit, either. Whatever you feel like doing. I guess in the pictures that I made on my website, I did, I guess if you want to learn how to do this, you can do a slice of lime. So you can just have like your like kind of wheel. Or if you do kind of your half, actually let me do it with this guy just because he's bigger. If you do your kind of half, right? So like that's where it's connected to the tree. One thumb goes there, your middle finger goes on the other side. Okay, that's your top and bottom. And you cut that in half. This is how you make your perfect. So like when you see those like really beautiful slices that people in like photography, like food photography, they cut it in half that way. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna find your halfway point. You'll have some seams here from the membrane of each individual like portion of your grapefruit. And you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna kind of go down. And then you have like the perfect grapefruit wedge or lime wedge or whatever you're trying to, whatever. And you can just kind of like slide it in. Another thing that you can do, and I've seen this a lot, is you can kind of make a really thin slice. I have not been successful doing this with like a mandolin. I've always had to kind of like use a knife. Or if you pre-freeze, I know this sounds really weird. If you freeze some of your fruit ahead of time, and then put it through a food processor on the slicing function, you can make like really thin slices because it's frozen. And then essentially you do this, and this is gonna be rough because this is like not the best cup for this. But you would slide this in. And then you have like a little slice of grapefruit in your glass looking all pretty. But you could do any of that kind of stuff. So let me set this off to the side. Okay. I'm giving you guys all of the stuff that I used for this so you can make your own.
Thank you. It's a DIY adventure?
Yeah.
Wait,
something like that. Huh?
You're going to chug the one you just made?
Yeah, I'm drinking the one I just made. Do you want to taste it?
I do. Wait, Marissa gets first taste.
Okay, there you go.
She won the rock, paper, scissors tournament. That's refreshing. Okay.
Oh, wait, say that again to the mic.
That's refreshing.
Hey. Okay, so these are all the ingredients.
Very good. Very good.
And you guys have...
We're just passing your drink around.
You're just passing my drink around. It's fine.
Okay.
You have a cocktail shaker that I put on your table. You've got all the ingredients now.
Is this about how to make it?
No, the ingredients are here, and you can use this because I printed you guys off the recipes.
Okay.
And if you need anything extra, I think I have... Let's see. We're going to let my friends make their own cocktails.
Do you want Spencer to recreate it on camera for you?
No, it's okay. Here's this guy.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I'll get you some limes as well.
Okay.
I think I have another citrus juicer.
Yeah. We're just going to make group Paloma, I think.
That works. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next cocktail.
Just repurpose that into tequila. We're gonna
Okay, now I really want to make the marg. So for Trinity and for Lindsay, your time is up. Let's go back to the marg. Try to clean up my space here a little bit. You can use it all. I've got more grapefruits. Got a whole bag over there, so I'm good.
Well, we have them over here.
Okay.
All right. So then we also need half an ounce to 1 ounce.
All right. I'm pulling ingredients out so that you guys don't just like, I didn't just disappear for no reason.
Can I have a reject lime?
You want another one? There's 3 limes on the table over there. Do you need more? Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Carrie, you're so on top of it. It's almost like your mom or something.
It's almost like I'm a mom.
Kids table, and we have the fidget toys. We're good.
Okay, ladies, are you guys doing a salted rim? What are we doing?
Salted rim.
Are we doing salted rim on our margs?
Oh, or sugar for a grapefruit. Salt always.
I'm salt and tahini. That is my chosen. I have tahini. You guys want tahini? Here.
I'm trying to get Rebecca to try it for months.
There you go.
Oh, yes. Tahini's chili lime. No, try it for love it.
We rimming? Okay, yeah. I want to know. Did Trinity and Lindsay are cooking with me. What are we doing? Salt. We're salting. Okay. So here are my tips on salting. Okay. I suggest that you do not salt the entire rim of the glass. Sometimes you want to just kind of like have salt on one side, and then you can sometimes have no salt, and then kind of go back and forth. That way you're not like stuck, right? It's cleaner. It's easier. You can do salt two ways. Okay, so we can do this two ways. I'm going to pour some salt onto a plate. Okay. It's probably about 2 tablespoons of salt. And I'm just going to kind of shake it into a corner onto one side there. Now, I know a lot of people will tell you to use lime. And you can use lime when you're setting up your rim. Essentially, what you're going to want to do is you're going to just want to get, like, squeeze a little bit, get a little bit of the juice kind of flowing, and then that gets rubbed against the side of the glass. And honestly, like, it's really pretty. Like, you've probably seen when you go out to bars and restaurants and things like that, they're starting to, like, do salt and stuff, like, all the way down, and you're, like, left, like, licking the entire cup. You can do, like, a really nice, like, wide lip here on the side. Do a thin rim, just kind of, like, halfway around. It's really up to you. Unless you're doing something like really fancy, I wouldn't like paint the whole glass. But here's a tip that I really like to use because I don't think that salt sticks very well with lime juice. I don't think anything really sticks to the glass very well with lime juice. I get really annoyed when I want like a really nice coating of salt or tahini or something and it doesn't work. I use agave. So what I like to do is I like to take agave and then you can use honey. If you don't have agave in your house, I keep agave in my house because margaritas. When I'm not doing the Oleo ones. And I'll just like get a little bit of agave. I use super glue. Chicken lard, that is not a good idea. That's probably toxic. Do not put that in your mouth. Oh, okay. I'm not going to say what I just heard, but I may use that in the future. Okay. So what I like to do is I'll just take a little paintbrush, and you can just get like a kid paintbrush or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But I'll just take a paintbrush and I'll just kind of like paint the side of the glass with agave. So I'm just gonna like give it like a nice little happy face and then fill it in. Okay. And now that that's painted, I've got like a really nice sticky surface. And now I've got a really nicely salted glass, and it's not gonna fall off as it dries because it's sticky. It's not going anywhere, and I really appreciate this in my cocktails. It makes me really sad when I am trying to rim something, or if I'm at like a friend's house and they're using lime and all the salt starts falling off as you're drinking it. So yes, that is my tip, my trick for this stream. Thank you for coming. We can end now. So anyway, so let's do this marg. So we've got our painted rim. We are bringing back our shortcut peels. Okay, I've got some really nice like syrupy kind of sugar going on down here at the bottom. The peels have started curling. They're starting to get a little bit darker in color. And they are ready for some lime juice. So let's squeeze some lime. We're going to be making some of our peeled limes over here. We're going to be making our sherbet now. Sherbet? It's spelled the way that people say sherbet, even though there's no R there. Sherbet. I'm going to go with sherbet. Oh yeah, you can count on chat.
You can count on Carrie to rim something?
You can count on chat to come up with as many rim job jokes as they can possibly come up with.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It is a full-time job to be a chatter. I mean, it doesn't just come from nothing. You gotta have it.
It's about having a thorough and carefully explored experience. This is why I'm glad they came.
They cannot hear us. They can hear me though. They can definitely hear half the conversation. Okay, so we're just juicing our limes. So we've already peeled some of our limes and now we're juicing them. You are a chat full of memers. You are, and I love it. Okay, so essentially what I'm attempting to do here is I am juicing 2 ounces of lime juice. So we're looking for 60 mils by volume of lime juice. It's about, I think, 52 grams, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. I think it's about 52 grams if you're going by weight. So let me get another one of my trusty little guys here. I'm going to do 2 ounces. I don't think I'm there yet. Nope, we need one more lime. Trinity, Lindsay, are you guys with me? Are we juicing? Are we doing our margs? I'm not doing marg. What? No, I'm talking to the people who are cooking with me.
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
Clean said, hey honey. No, almost. Clean says, I just told my wife about the stream and I know she's making 6 drinks for 4 people. Actually, I have more than 4 people here now. We have a party here now. They're making their own drinks. There are too many. Oh, so close. Okay. You're pre-juiced and ready. Nice. I'm being waited on. I'm getting a workout in this stream. Okay. That should be it. Okay. So, 2 ounces of lime juice. Pour it right into our little bowl here. Okay, and so we are making what is called a sherbet. Okay, and you're gonna mix it until the sugar is dissolved. It should dissolve pretty quickly because it's already really kind of softened up and those crystals have already started to dissolve because of all of that lime. So you should be pretty close. But yeah, you're going to want it to get really nice and mixed up. I'm going to give that a taste real quick. That's nice. Okay, so I'm in a good place. I'm going to now strain this. And you can strain it right into your, right into a glass or like a separate glass or something like that so that you can then measure. Do you need me for something? You can make guac if you want. The cutting board is right over there. My husband's asking if he can make guacamole, which is not a bad option. It's not a bad option when we have all of these tequila and mezcal cocktails. Okay. I'm just rinsing my glasses, ladies. I have to use the same shaker the whole time. So we're just rinsing and going. Okay, so let's do some straining, right? So we're going to strain our syrup out. I'm just going to kind of, at this point, this is now when you can kind of like move around and kind of just like smush your peels a little bit now that they're not like sitting in the liquid. And we're just going to kind of give those a little bit of a mash. Okay. So this is your sherbet here. The cocktail. Now we're going to start building our cocktail. Easy peasy. I'm going to put ice in my glass using this. Using my hands. Why not? You'll notice that the ice is going in and it's banging against the sides of the glass and none of the salt is falling off. Thank you, agave. And then we're going to do 2 ounces of our reposado. I prefer reposados in a margarita. I think it tastes better. I think it's just more flavorful. I appreciate them. I'm using Tres Agaves today. I really like this. I think it's a good, relatively cheap tequila that you can use as a mixer. Honestly, you could sip if you wanted to, but mixer, it's a really nice, just good all-around flavor. It's nice and clean, and I appreciate that. So we need 2 ounces of this guy. If anybody has any questions about tequila, I have lots of tequila. I like talking about tequila. I may or may not be helpful to you in choosing your tequila. Are you going to walk in front of the camera? Go ahead. You can walk in front of the camera if you need to, underneath the camera. Okay. Okay. We got 2 ounces of tequila. Okay. We're going to do a half. I will be, but you can take it for now if you want. I do need the control back. Thank you, ladies.
You are so welcome.
We need a half an ounce of Cointreau. I prefer Cointreau to Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier is too sweet for me. Cointreau tastes brighter and more orangey and citrusy, and so I prefer it. That is just where I land on my like triple sec-esque stuff. What is the worst tequila? Yeah, Jose is pretty bad. Will Fortaleza ever be available again? It is available if you want to spend double what you originally were paying for it, which I've been priced out of the Fortaleza game, which is very sad. I have friends of mine in California that send me pictures all the time of them buying Fortaleza, and I want to strangle every single one of them, but it's fine because I love them, so I won't do it. But yeah, Fortaleza is probably my all-time favorite tequila. They have a strict supply, and as they got popular, obviously supply dwindled, and so it's really hard to get a hold of. Most of the time, honestly, if you're looking for Fortaleza, go to a tequila bar that you know stocks good tequila. Fortaleza is first shipping to restaurants and retail space, or like to restaurants, and then shipping to retail spaces. So if you're just looking to like have a sip and not take a bottle home, you can probably find it in a restaurant before you find it in a store. But West Coast is going to have it over East Coast. East Coast is kind of SOL. But you know, really large cities might have it in specialty liquor stores and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm sad about it. I'm really sad about it. Have I ever tried Creole Shrub? I've not tried a Creole Shrub. Have them mail it to you. I don't know if sip tequila. I've never tried that. Sipping tequila is great.
Hour tequila tour.
You can't. I mean, an individual can't ship alcohol, but like if they bought it and had that store ship it to me, maybe they could do it. Okay, so we've got, what did I put in here? I put in the tequila and the Cointreau, and now we are doing our 1.5 ounces of our sherbet, which I'm going to do this for. Okay, and pour that in. So now I've got everything in here, and I'm going to be putting ice and then shaking. Oop. Something that I'm actually going to do today that isn't in the recipe, that I've started doing with a lot of my cocktails, is I'm just going to add a pinch of salt in here. It just gives a little extra flavor, and like you're already salting the rim and like doing all that other kind of stuff when it comes to a margarita. So like honestly, it's all around just really nice. So we're gonna do that. And shake. The last time that I tried to ship alcohol to a friend, they opened the box, drank it, and then shipped the empty bottles to her. UPS. It was not great. I was mad about it. Yeah, they drank the alcohol and then put the empty bottles back in the box. Okie dokie. Fallout. No, it's not. I just said it, and then it reminded me of Fallout. And there's our marg. Oh, man. God, that's nice. Mm-hmm. That's a good marg. Are they allowed to do that? No, they're not allowed to drink it. They're allowed to confiscate the alcohol, but they're not allowed to drink it. Did anybody want a sip of the marg?
Yes.
There you go. It's just this lime margarita. Plain margarita. Okay. So let's do, I guess I can show you guys this now, that these have been sitting for a while. So if you remember, when we were making our oleo at the beginning and I kind of like knocked it and it sounded like a brick. So now you can see like it's getting like really liquid and it's really nice. It's just like a faster way and a better way to pull the oils out. And then this is the tropical one, which is already like really, because the pineapples just got like a lot of, why am I even holding it up? I should do it down here. So like you can see kind of like this, the sugar is already pretty much translucent in both of them. And you can see like they're really on their way. Okay, let's do our rainwater here. So now we're gonna get our mezcal out and we're gonna start playing around with mezcal. I'm very excited. I need to juice some more grapefruit and I need to juice some limes. And then I'm also gonna pull my Madeira out of the refrigerator. It is fortified wine, not much like, but kind of in the same vein as Amaro's and vermouths. So you need to keep it refrigerated, but it does last longer than those. So I've got my, it's called a rainwater because you use rainwater Madeira. And rainwater Madeira is just a kind of like diluted Madeira. It's okay. Ooh, there's a lot of history here. I don't know. Do I go into history? It's called rainwater because rainwater used to get into the casks on the boat, and it would kind of like expand all of that wood and kind of dilute and like let off some of that flavor, and that's where they got the name rainwater Madeira from. And sure, fine. So basically, we are going to be moving on now that I just did that. I'm feeling a little weird about that one. Let's do 2 ounces of grapefruit juice, a half an ounce of lime. I'm using the Vida, Del Maguey Vida Clásico. This is mezcal. I really like Del Maguey. I think they have some excellent cocktails. They do single origin mezcals. They do single origin mezcals that can be really fun. And I specifically like keep the Vida de Muertos, and then I keep the Clásico in my house almost at all times, and use them a lot. So this is the Clásico, is the one that goes into this cocktail. Friends. Clásico is the one that goes into this cocktail. And also we are going to add a little bit of falernum. And then we are going to add in our grapefruit bitters, which I believe I used in the Paloma, so we're probably over on this other table over here. So I'm going to go snag those. Okay, bitters, please. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Yeah, do you want your classic margarita back before we...
Oh, yeah, I would love the margarita back. Thanks, guys. I forgot about it. Thank you. Lindsay, what'd you think of the marg? Did you like it? Trinity, what are we thinking? So, like, just imagine, like, you get a little bit of that extra, like, lime peel, like that, like, lime oil. It's just a little bit limier than you would normally get in a margarita. And it's going to be just that much more, like, the longer that it sits, right? So at 24 hours, you're just going to get, like, a really intense, like, lovely lime flavor. So like you're drinking this now. Imagine when you go to make it at the proper time. Delish. Nice. You're looking forward to the long version. I like it. Good. Okay. Juice. I need a juicer too, friends.
What do you need?
Juicer.
Okay.
The big one. Thank
Do
you.
you need help? Or
Nope.
good?
I'm good.
We're just,
Yeah, I just need my stuff back. I'm like.
we're here to support however we can. And by we, I mean Spencer.
Okay, so we're gonna do. I need 2 ounces of grapefruit. So I'm gonna pull my grapefruits out. And now I've got a bunch of cocktails. Here, you want some Paloma?
My favorite one.
It's so good. Okay. Guac is coming along. Guys, he's almost done. Don't let him fool you. Do I add citric acid to the Oleo? Okay. So I know that there's a lot of information going around about super juice. I've never made it before. I am very interested in it, but you need malic acid and you need citric acid, and I have not got around to buying malic acid. So it is something that I do want to try. It is something that I would love to write about. I just haven't gotten to it. Okay. Okay, so 2 ounces. 2 shots. Yeah, 2 shots of grapefruit juice. Okay. And we also are going to need some lime juice. And now I do need this. So let's grab some of our limes that we've pre-peeled. We're going to keep using those limes. Okay. We need, how much did I say that I was going to need for this? Only a half an ounce. Okay, so I probably only need like 1 lime. Okay. Can you do me a favor and rinse the shaker out while you're over there? Do we compost? No, but I would love to compost. We should. I honestly, like, the number of like peels and eggshells and like coffee grounds and things like that we have, like, I should be composting. It doesn't make sense that I'm not. But we get so many pests that I stopped growing things in my garden. I have herbs in my garden, and like whatever nature does. Like, I don't even water out there anymore. I've given up all hope. Our pests are horrible. I had a mole come in last year and dig my garden up 3 times, like in its entirety. I can't believe I got any fruits and vegetables and stuff out of it last year, to be honest. But we get like the armyworms, the like caterpillars and stuff that like take over all your tomatoes and stuff. I get whiteflies. I get moles. I get grasshoppers come in and like eat all the leaves off of stuff. It's just horrendous where we are. So I've given up. They just feed it to the alligators. No. Have we gotten cicadas when they come up? I have not noticed that, and I hope to never notice that. So I have no answer to that question. I hope not. All right, so we need a half an ounce of lime juice. Okay. And then I'm going to go in with some of our alcohols. Ugh. I need a half an ounce of our Madeira. Oops, I put a little bit more than that. That's okay. I'm still going to drink it. Oh no, how horrible. Oh my God, a little bit too much Madeira in this cocktail. It's the worst thing ever. Okay, and then we've got an ounce and a half.
Too strong.
Too much. An ounce and a half of this. So we're going to come all the way up to our 5 ounce pour here. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to pour that into my cocktail shaker because I have 1 ounce left to go. We're going to do the falernum. Okay, we got 1 ounce of falernum. This is acting kind of as our simple syrup. Okay. This is not a sweet cocktail. This is a really nice, light, smoky, citrusy cocktail. It doesn't have a full-on simple syrup in it, and I like it that way. And then we've got some grapefruit bitters, and we're going to do 2 to 3 dashes of this guy. Okay. I'm not dashing very well today, but that's okay. And then we're going to pull all of our stuff. You'll notice wherever it went, I had a strainer. I've been double straining the whole time. Oh, it's right here. I've been double straining all of my cocktails, or most of my cocktails with citrus in them. And I will be double straining some of my other stuff later. It's not as important when you're like pouring a cocktail into a glass that already has like ice in it. But if you're doing something like a martini or a cocktail that's in a coupe that's like sans ice, it's going to be really important to double strain just so that you're not getting like pieces of pulp, right? It just like wrecks the mouthfeel. And then the same thing, like you don't want like pieces of ice, of like chipped ice and stuff that you are creating when you're shaking to kind of be in that cocktail when you're expecting it to be like nice and frothy and smooth, and then you're getting like all of this extra junk in there. So I'm double straining. And citrus, it's just anytime that there's citrus in a cocktail, if you want that mouthfeel to be nice and smooth, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna double strain it. So that's where that's kind of coming from. Okay. So we're gonna use a funky glass for this one, because why not? So I've got this guy here. Let's get some ice in here for shaking. Okay. And then some ice in our glass. Yeah, chilled glasses are the way to go. I have not been chilling my glasses. Bad me. I typically do chill my glasses, but I just want them at the ready, so I don't have to keep walking back to my refrigerator. But yes, chill your glass 15 to 30 minutes before you make your cocktail. If you forgot about chilling your glass, you can also take ice and just put it into the glass and let it sit in the glass while you're making the cocktail to give it like a little extra kind of jump on that. And then dump the ice and put fresh ice in because the ice that was sitting there chilling the glass has now started to melt, and you don't want that to happen. You don't want extra dilution. Okay. Oh, I love this. This smells really good. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and double strain into this guy, which is going to be too much. Woo! There we go. Mm. It makes me happy.
The comments for the drink.
Oh, I'm not listening to you guys at all.
Oh.
Huh?
Is that the ginger one?
This is the Rainwater one. We haven't gotten to the tropical Marg yet.
We were all telling you how soothing you were.
Aw. There you go.
Do I need to get my rating on camera?
You can.
Your hand was on
Your
screen.
hand is twitching.
Yeah, you made it.
Okay.
Oh, let's You want to make that noise into the mic? She's in the stream. That's Rachel. Oh no, she's been perceived.
This is really good.
There you go. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
We're gonna pour the rest of it.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was. So.
Yeah. It's okay. You moonwalk your way out? Is that what you said? Okay.
She's real. You have real friends.
Yeah, the drinks are kicking in. They're getting friendlier. It's fine.
We're approaching the edge of the enclosure. Hey, that Rainwater was really good though. Mezcal, right?
Yeah, Mezcal. Yeah. Okay. What should we do next? We've got berries and we've got the tropical Marg.
Berry jalapeno?
No, it's also Mezcal.
Okay. Okay, I want.
It's the Shrub.
I want the tropical one next.
You want the tropical one next? Okay, we'll do the tropical one next.
Okay, so we did sweet.
Yes, the next one has some heat. The next one is heat.
Tart, smoky, spicy,
Okay.
sweet.
Okay, so we'll do our tropical marg next.
And it was fucking delicious. That's what
Are we? Right here, are you guys doing Rainwater? There is a little extra Madeira than there should be, but it's still delicious.
It's mezcal, so it's gonna be smokier.
Yeah, it's got mezcal in it.
This doesn't like mezcal. Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm just trying to clear my space up a little bit, and then we can move on.
Carrie, we'll drink anything.
And we're gonna do the tropical. Okay, so we mentioned before, I guess you can maybe see. I never know how much you guys can see on this thing, but you can see how syrupy this has already gotten. Okay. So what I'm gonna do for this is I'm gonna do essentially the same thing that I did previously, except this one is gonna get heated. So I like put this obviously in a pot. I'm going to put like, oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna put a little bit of lime juice in this, and I'm gonna cook this with some lime juice to kind of get it like really syrupy, really get those aromatics kind of infused into the syrup. And then I'm gonna take it off the heat, and I'm gonna add the pineapple into it and give it like a bit of a mash, and add the rest of the lime in after it's off the heat. If you cook lime juice, it will kind of sweeten, and we don't want to do that a whole lot. So I'm kind of doing just enough to get like everything dissolved and everything kind of like going and marrying while it's like cooking just a tad and steeping. We're not bringing anything up to a boil. I'm getting everything dissolved, and I'm just gonna let it steep, and then we can come back to it. So you can see that that's liquid now. I've got more limes over here that I will be juicing yet again. We may go through all our limes. We had all of those peels, and look, we're going through all the limes that we peeled. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? From you? You friends can have questions too?
Yeah. What are we making infused?
Okay, so this is the tropical.
This is agave right now.
Wait, what do you want? Agave?
She's joking.
Oh.
For real, the Paloma is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
The Paloma is so good. That's true. You don't like grapefruit. That is weird. That's weird. That is weird. Paloma is a favorite for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
That Rainwater though takes me back.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's so, I miss Cocinero's Rainwater. I wish their spicy Paloma they got rid of too, and it just makes me really sad that they get rid of all of it because they try. So like, okay, so we have like a local place that does like, they have a really good cocktail menu, and they like to change it up a lot, and they've really, really leaned into like tiki cocktails, and so everything has rum, and everything has gotten like really sweet, and I miss a lot of like the smokier, citrusy, like lighter, fresher cocktails that they used to have. Maybe one day they will bring them back. My fingers are crossed. Until then, I will make their old cocktails at home, and that's kind of just where I've landed. So,
What's your other favorite drink to make with mezcal? Mine is your old fashioned.
yeah, the Oaxaca old fashioned. I forgot about that guy. I even have a little thing back there. Okay, we should probably start on the syrup for that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get into syrups now. So let's start doing. I do still have to juice limes. I am also going to have to do lemons because we have a lemon syrup that we're going to be making for that. Yeah, we'll be good. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. What do I feel like doing first? Let's do, yeah. Let's do the lime juice and get this tropical steeping, and then get our Oaxaca old-fashioned syrup going. We have a lemon syrup that we're going to be making, a lemon rich simple syrup. Rich simple syrup is a 2-to-1 sugar to water, and a simple syrup is a 1-to-1. So basically it's just extra thick syrup. So we're going to go ahead and get our lime juice going wherever that is. Okay. Let's do this. A bottle of Don Julio 1942? That was an expensive night.
Oh, what? Oh my god.
I'm sure it was a delicious night, but it was also an expensive night. An entire bottle. Oh my God. You shared it with friends. Okay, that makes me feel way better. If you ever need another taste tester for food or drinks, you work for free. Do you live close to me? Because I would take you up on that, to be honest. I need more tasters. The guac is made. The guac has been made. They're snacking over there. Hey, can I have my trash can back because you stole it and now it's gone? No, I'm okay, but I would very much like my trash can back because I've just got like pieces of fruit all over the place. Thank you. Get guac on stream or it doesn't exist. They need receipts, hon. That's all that's left. There we go. This is what we have left of the guac. No, he can't be. Nobody. See, here's the thing, though. Is it's a cook along. So if I have other people doing tasks, then people can't cook along with me, right? Yeah. Well, that's why like, everybody's asking. All of my friends are asking me if they can help. I'm like, no. I would normally put you to work and have you do all of this. Okay.
Yeah, Spencer got ice left. So.
Yeah, that's true. Spencer did go get ice for me.
Oh, what did I do? Hold on.
You almost got iced.
How do I get ice?
He doesn't. We missed it. We messed up on that one. Okay. Okay, so I've got my lime juice. And what I'm going to be doing, so this makes 4 ounces of syrup. It makes enough. Okay, let's rephrase. This makes enough syrup for 4 cocktails, right? So you need 30 milliliters by volume for each cocktail. It makes 4 of those. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to just put 1 30 milliliter, 1 ounce of lime juice into this. Just enough so that I can get some actual like liquid in here. Here we go. And I can get this cooking. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn my stovetop on. Have my induction cooktop back here. And I'm just going to I'm going to stick that at like medium-high heat. Medium-high heat. And I'm going to let that come up to temperature and let the sugar start dissolving. And then we're also going to get our rich simple syrup ready for our Oaxaca Old Fashions. And so that is going to take, let's see, where are you? Right here. We've got the zest of a lemon, 50 grams of granulated sugar, and 30 milliliters of lemon juice. So let's go ahead and get a little bowl for that. And so the way that this one is going to work, you remember I was saying like try not to mash or agitate the lime peels. Lime peels are super, super bitter. Lemon and orange don't quite have that problem. So you may have noticed if you are like doom scrolling the internet and you come across recipes for like orange or lemon cakes or something like that, or cookies, where somebody will literally zest citrus into sugar and then kind of mash it around with their fingers. That is what I'm going to be doing here so that I can pull some of those oils out of the peel. And then you're going to get a little bit of the zest, you're going to get a little bit of sugar, and you're going to get a little bit of that lemon juice, and it's going to be a really, really nice syrup. It's super easy to come together, and it's honestly like, it's just like, it's so easy. It's the easiest way to get the most flavor. So let me grab my microplane here. If you have like a box grater or something like that, you're just going to use the zest side. So we're just doing the zest of 1 lemon. not sure what I did with my, there it is. Okay.
It's gonna be good like the delayed one.
Okay. So we got the zest of the lemon. We're gonna need our sugar. So we got 50 grams of granulated sugar. So close. Oh, come on. There we go. 50 grams. This is way too complicated for me pouring some scotch. I see you, and I raise you just pour tequila neat. Or like tequila on the rocks, and just stick.
Because you're crazy.
No,
What
no.
would you drink neat?
Almost everything that I have here, I would drink neat.
Which one's your favorite?
There's a bottle in there that I do not have out. That is my favorite. The one from Cannon Beach Distillery. Spirits derived from agave, because it's not from Tequila, Mexico, so you can't call it tequila.
Because you can't call Kendall Jenner's tequila either.
Okay. So we've got our syrup here. It just heated through. I'm trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be. There we go. So you can see I've got just like a nice like syrupy kind of texture made. I'm gonna set this aside and just let that like steep for a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna throw our pineapples in. After that, actually, I may put this in the refrigerator. I'm going to move it to the refrigerator just to speed things along. So we're going to let that sit and let that chill. And then we'll put the pineapple in that in a second. We've got another pot here that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using for my rich simple syrup from my Oaxaca Old Fashioned. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I put it into a really deep pot, so you can't really see much. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to kind of push the lemon peels and the sugar together like this and just kind of move everything together, pinch it and move it until you've got all of that kind of nice and sandy, just like before. You're still going for that same sandy texture. Okay. There we go. So you can see it's almost like turning like a yellow color. It's like nice and sandy, and it's turning kind of like yellowy. So that's what you're looking for. And then we're going to add in a little bit of lemon juice. Okay. And we're only doing 1 ounce of lemon juice because we want this to be like a nice, really thick syrup. So you're looking for almost the consistency of like honey or agave. And can I steal the green topped juicer? Thank you so much. Okay.
Carrie, listen, you need anything, you just let us know.
You got it. I will let you know if I need anything.
And by we, I mean this one. Yeah. Officer.
Okay, that's plenty. So we need 1 ounce of this. Okay. And this is going to go right into our pot here. And then we're just going to turn it into a syrup. So stovetop's going on, doing the same thing, kind of like a medium high. Just until that sugar dissolves. Come in here with a spatula so I can kind of move it around a little bit. Okay. nice and simple. And then something that I'm probably gonna do, so like this is already ready. Thank you. I really like the hair color. It's really fun.
I love the royal blue. It's very good.
I really like the blue. Yeah. I'm glad I went back to blue. So this is already where I want it. So I've already got that dissolved. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do something a little special. And this is in the notes for the recipe online. I'm going to actually let this cook and keep going until it's like a warm golden caramel color. It's really, really nice in an old fashioned to have like a bit of that kind of caramel flavor in there and it not just be like a really bright citrus note. Okay, so let's do some more. I think I ate all the pineapple that I cut up earlier. So let's cut up another 80 grams of pineapple.
My name's Mateo. My middle name's Mateo. Oh.
I've got some here. God, so good. Okay, so that's the rainwater.
What's next week? Do we wait for the spicy pineapple tropical margarita? Or are we doing wait, which one are we doing? The blueberry? Not champagne.
Which one are you doing now?
Right now I have the tropical marg going, and then I also have the Oaxaca old fashioned going, and I have the berry. I think the shrub is going to be like the last one that I do.
Make drinks with you, so we're just trying to.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think we're gonna make a classic lime.
Got it. I like it. Yes.
No, Chuck can
I can get it.
There you go.
Yeah, Spencer, you've got two men here, and then you have great legs.
Okay.
That was just
Um,
out loud.
check on this guy.
Chuck, you're gonna get this intro to
Okay. So now we've got our syrup that has kind of chilled, and I'm going to dump my pineapple in, and then I'm going to take a muddler. You can use a fork if you want. That's also fine. And I'm going to give that a little mash. And so now I'm going to mash my pineapple into my aromatic here, my aromatic syrup. And I'm going to let that sit for a little bit longer and then come back to it again. I'm feeling like I want a little extra pineapple. I'm going to add some more. Just for funsies. We're going to do 2 more slices.
Wait. Next time you need to do a better slide. Like let's do our second base. They're about to tag you out. Let's do our best baseball slide.
I'm going to return this to the refrigerator, and then we're going to make the syrup for the berry shrub, which has been sitting, waiting very nicely here for us for a while now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take my muddler, that same muddler that we just used, and I'm going to squish down all the berries in here, and I'm going to get some of these juices going.
The bottom of the bag. Do we have any more of the sherbet?
No. Yes, but not much. You've got 1 ounce instead of 1.5 ounces. If they wanted to make any of what the berry, I've got some of the shrub already in the refrigerator. So you can see now I've got kind of my muddled mixture here, and I'm going to send that through the blender. And I'm just going to pulse it a couple times. Like, I'm not doing anything insane. Okay, let's get the base of this blender out. Okay. And like I said before, like I'm just gonna do a couple pulses. We're not doing anything crazy. Okay. I just really want to get the juices going without like really mashing up the seeds. Okay, and that's it. I would recommend the blender over the food processor unless you're making like a quadruple batch of it. Okay, so my friend just asked me if it would be a better idea to do a food processor since you're like pulsing it instead of using a blender. But the problem with food processor is that you usually have to have a lot more like liquid or just substance in the food processor before those blades are going to work. And so because a blender is bottom loaded, you can have far less and be able to make the recipe. So if you want to use a food processor, you can, but you would need to have at least 3 times the recipe in order to use the food processor.
That's so interesting. I would think because the blender is bigger.
Yeah. Well, the blades are on the bottom though, so everything sinks down to the bottom, and you're not dealing with anything getting stuck underneath the blades.
And that's what the food processor? Or?
The food processor, everything would get stuck under the blades because there's not enough in there. But a blender does not have that problem. So, yes. I am going to use this guy. Okay, so now we're going to strain this out. I'm not sure what I want to strain it into. Probably another bowl. Let's do another bowl. Got my syrup still going. It's getting really nice and thick, and I'm getting very happy with it. Okay, so I think I might stop there. Let's show you guys. By moving this out of the way. There you go. So you can see, maybe that's kind of like a really deep yellow color. It was not that before, and I'm going to stop that there. And that is going to be my syrup for my Oaxaca Old Fashioned. And now we are going to do our syrup for our Mezcal Shrub cocktail. So because I did not blend this into oblivion, I'm going to have a lot of seeds. And I want to make sure that we're straining that out. Like, it almost does not matter like what you're doing when it comes to like using berries. Like, you should always be straining out your syrups because you're going to get like, you know, the outside of the berries, like the skin of the berries, you're going to be getting pits and seeds and all sorts of stuff. And so you want to make sure that you are straining out your liquids so that your syrups so that they are nice and smooth. The residuals, that's a great word. The residuals, yes. That is maybe the perfect word for that. Okay. And so I have this like really nice berry syrup now. And this is the shortcut. Now remember, this is the shortcut. We have a bowl over here that's just chilling. By tomorrow, it's just going to be like, it's going to look just like this. It's going to be like nice and soupy and syrupy. And I will not have to have used a blender. It's just going to be the bowl and then strain the bowl and call it a day. So this is just like a way to kind of like make a shortcut so that you're not taking, 24 hours to make this cocktail. And I will say like the flavors in the shortcut are not going to be as tangy. So you can still obviously like get a certain amount of tartness and sweetness, but it's not going to have as strong of a blackberry flavor. The sugar is going to kind of like really just like show its face a lot more because it hasn't been able to sit with the berries for as long as like it really I would like. So you have to add like a little bit more vinegar to the short version versus our long version. Our long version is going to have more of the actual flavor of the berry and not just be like, I think this is a berry syrup. You'll actually be able to tell like which berry you used, and it is going to also be a little bit tart, which you do not have with this shorthand version. It's still delicious. It's just not exactly the same. The Residuals is a good name for a punk band. I'd be down. I'd listen to that CD for sure. CD. I'm so old. Oh my God. I just aged myself in a horrible way. Oh my God. That's funny. Okay. Let's get. Okay. Move this over. I'm just rinsing my shaker and the strainer that I use when I double strain so that I don't have any other flavors in here when I go to make my cocktails. Okay, bring this back. Okay, so now I want to add some vinegar, and you guys get to laugh at me for a second because this is my vinegar bottle because we use vinegar to clean the floors and countertops and stuff. So I have a very large jug of vinegar for a very small amount of vinegar that I actually need. So I'm going to be adding 2, maybe 3 tablespoons. If I can find my tablespoon. I think I put it away. I did. Of vinegar to this. Okay. Let's see. So because it's not sitting for as long, it is a little bit, like I said, sweeter. And so a little bit more vinegar in this versus in the long form version of this syrup. And this is kind of, again, like a shrub is like a drinking vinegar. It's like a fruited drinking vinegar. So vinegar does come into this. I know it's a little weird, but it is really tasty. I'm going to start with the requisite 2 tablespoons, and then I'm going to add in some more. I'm going to give it a little taste. I'm going to see where we landed and see what I like. Still too sweet. I do want the extra tablespoon in there. I like it. I did wear Jinkos. I did. I was that person. I had Jinkos. I had the metal beads. But true to form, I was also allergic to costume and jewelry. So I had to paint all of the metal beaded necklaces with clear nail polish so that I could wear them. I painted them every 2 days. Oh my God, the nostalgia. You made a shrub with peach tea. I bet you that was delicious.
No.
Ah, that must have been so good. I'm like thinking about it now. That must have been really good. Okay. Okay, so that's perfect. So what I'm tasting, right? Because you obviously aren't in here. I don't know what kind of berries you have access to. Sometimes if berries are underripe, it takes less sugar, less vinegar, And so you might be using less of this. But if you've got like really, really ripe berries mixed in with your sugar, it's going to be sweeter. You're going to need more vinegar. So like 2 tablespoons is a great place to start with your full recipe set for 24 hours. If you're doing the short form, 2.5 tablespoons, maybe 3 is a great place to kind of sit. But you're going to want to feel the vinegar, the acid from the vinegar. You're going to want it to hit the front of your tongue, and you're going to want to feel it all the way in the back of your mouth. It's not going to be just kind of a front mouth like, ooh, it's a little bit tart, a little like I can taste it. You're going to taste it. You can taste it. The second you put vinegar in anything, you can taste it. So you're going to know, and you're going to taste it right at the beginning, but you want it to hit all the way to the back of your mouth, and that's when you know that you've got it in the place that you want it to be for this cocktail. So now we've got this done. I've got this syrup. I've got this syrup, which I need to strain out. So let's get another bowl and strain into this. And this is like super thick now because I cooked it for a little bit longer. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we've got that. And again, I'm straining out the zest that we put in before. Again, mouthfeel. I don't want random pieces of zest to be in your old fashioned, especially because you're drinking it, like just on the rocks, right? It's basically just liquor and like a touch of syrup. And I in no way, and some bitters, I in no way want you to have like pieces of zest in that. That would just not be great. So that's why we are doing this. Okay. Rinse this guy. Because I am going to be using it when I do the Blackberry. I'm going to double strain that because there is citrus juice in it. Okay. Okay, so now I've got this syrup. I've got that syrup. I've got another syrup in the refrigerator. All the syrups are finally coming together. Okay. Let's grab that out of the refrigerator, and we are going to also strain this one out into another bowl, yet another bowl. Grab the strainer. Yes. Which Margarita song? There are a lot. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
We've had this conversation. I knew you knew this. But this one didn't heard of it.
No, I have. It's the last summer.
Yeah. So much time. Can we help at all?
Oh, see you, chicken. No, you cannot help. You're not allowed to help.
Okay,
This is a
I'm here.
what's the word?
Solo.
Yes, it is a solo endeavor. Unfortunately, you cannot help me, although I completely lost a tiny bowl that I was using that had zest in it.
Okay, we don't have it. So can't we have your little wine juicer?
Yes.
Do you need it?
There you go. You got that
Do you
one.
want us to just like juice a lot of lime juice? Do you need more?
Yeah.
No, I had a bowl that I had peels. Oh, here it is. I found it. Found it. Okay. I'm just gonna strain into this. Okay. I wanted something that had like a bit of a wider bowl so that I could strain with the big strainer because this is a lot to strain out. Can you grab me a spatula over there? I left it on the countertop. Thank you. Okay, so now we're just gonna move things around, give them a little bit of a push through the strainer. And now we've got our tropical syrup. And this, again, this is the shortcut version. The long version will be sitting on your countertop for about 24 hours. You can give it a mix every now and then. Squish out your pineapple. It is the ghost of leopard. That is exactly who you saw. Okay. Almost done. Okay, we've got 3 more cocktails to make, and then we're done, ladies and gents.
3 more?
Well, I just need to put them together. All the syrups are done. Cocktails themselves don't take very long. It's the syrups that are part of the whole thing. All right. Let me give this a taste, because I'm curious. That's really nice. Oh my gosh, that's really nice. Okay. I've got ginger, I've got lemongrass, I've got citrus. The pineapple is really forward. It's great. Great. Cool. Okay. I'm going to now just like move things aside. I guess I will end up needing lime, which is over here. Okay. Okay, we are doing the tropical one first. So we'll start with this and then we'll move on. So let's see. We're going to need 2 ounces of our reposado that does not have, we lost the cap somewhere along the line. Okay, so I need 2 ounces of this. Okay. So I got 2 ounces of a reposado. Tequila. I've got a half an ounce of Ancho Reyes. So this is a Poblano liqueur. They also make an ancho liqueur. If you don't want to use this, you probably could like slice up some habaneros and put some habaneros or some serrano peppers into the syrup while it's like steeping and just let it kind of imbue into that. And that would also be a great thing to do. Reposado is good stuff. I am a fan of the reposados. It's probably my favorite style of tequila. It's like the perfect point. How much is shipping on my concoctions? I'm not allowed to ship alcohol, unfortunately. Not allowed. Okay, so we've got the Poblano liqueur, we've got the tequila. We are moving into our syrup. We've got an ounce of syrup, and I am honestly not sure if I can, let's see, I'm not sure I can do this. Woo, we did it, cool. Okay, we got an ounce of that. Set that off to the side, that is done with. And then we need some lime juice. I need an ounce of lime juice. This is lemon. Can I have the, oh, I need that back. You're getting yoinked. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. I stole it. You can have it back when I'm done. It's the only thing that needs lime juice. So as soon as I'm done with this, you guys can have it back. Actually, you know what? I should. Is this lemon juice or lime juice? Lime juice. Oh, this is lemon. This is lemon. Sorry. I thought it was lemon. I figured I'd double check just in case I could give it back. To help. I know. You're doing, and I love you for it. I love you for fighting the urge to help. I appreciate that so much.
Literally, whenever you need help, just tag me in, please.
Orange creamsicle in a coffee? That sounds really good. Orange and coffee is like super good together. I think that sounds fantastic. I'd be down. Okay. So I need 1 ounce of lime juice. And I am honestly probably there, but we're going to just go ahead and do another half to make sure. Oh. I should tell you to peel all of the limes so that I have stuff for Oleo.
More Oleo?
Yeah, of course I'm making more Oleo. What are you talking about? Not for now, for later.
Oh.
Come on, you can never have have too much Oleo. That's where I was going for. I need a spoon. I'm just trying to get the liquid to go down the little slats. Okay, so we need an ounce. Okay, here, with almost the same amount of lime juice you started with. Okay, so we've got our ounce of lime juice, and then it's gonna go right in. There we go. And now let's grab ourselves a glass. So we've got our glass here. I'm gonna put some ice in there. Oh wait, we're rimming this. We're rimming this with tahini. What am I even doing? What am I doing it? What am I even doing? This needs tahini. This needs tahini. I almost failed just then, guys. I can't fail you. Okay. You have some. Oh, good. You have the open one. I have another one, but I figured. Okay. So same situation. We've got our glass. I've got a little paintbrush. God, I feel like an artiste. You know, like why not? You know what? We're gonna do a little rectangle on this one. It is. But like it's honestly better. You say extra, I say better. We're gonna do a little rectangle. I'm just gonna paint it. It's extra that I'm having to make these lines perfect because, you know, whatever. I'm an artiste. There you go. Okay, so we've got our agave. Set this off to the side. And then go right into our tahini. And there you go. So now we've got a little tahini rim. And we're gonna do ice. In the glass. Ice in our. And pour. And shake. Tahini is cracked. Tahini is absolutely crack. I have mango over there. I really like putting, cutting up mango and having like slices of mango and putting tahini on to mango. It's so good. Okay. And there you go. That's so good. Okay, Rach. There you go, madam. You got it? Okay. It's a good one. Okay. Let's do the Oaxaca Old Fashioned.
Wait, is this ours?
Yeah, have it.
For the table.
Yeah, you can have it. Go for it.
Harry, fantastic. That's when you think, yeah.
I thought you would like that one.
Yeah. Just spicy enough.
Just spicy enough, right?
Yeah.
It's like just kind of like hangs out in the under. You can feel it in the back of your mouth, but it's not like overwhelming.
I almost wish it was more spicy.
Yeah.
But like almost.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate it. I'm glad you like it. Oh, thank you. My friends are so nice, guys. Okay, let's do our Oaxaca Old Fashioned. I am going to take out my Bali ice. I have some clear ice that I did buy from the store because I did not have time to make my own. So if you are using ice, nice ice, that is clear ice, you want to what we call temper ice.
Is this a shaped ice?
It's not shaped. It's just a circle. It's just a circle.
Is this the
I just bought it from Publix.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
You can, huh?
branded one? Are we about to brand it?
No, but I could do that.
Does have this
I could do that.
mold,
Yeah, I do have. I have molds. I have spheres. I have cubes, and then I have skulls. The skulls are very fun.
Those are my favorite.
The skulls are very fun for clear ice. But if you are using clear ice, if you bought it from the store, and you want to have fancy drinks, because apparently you can buy them from the store. I saw it, and I obviously bought some, which I thought was fantastico. So you want to be all like, special and show off for your friends. You want to temper this. So you're going to take this out about a minute, maybe up to 2 minutes, depending on how cold it was, before you pour anything onto it. If you pour your cocktail, because we're not shaking it, we're pouring kind of like warm liquid directly onto ice, and then using this to dilute. If you pour that directly onto this cold ice that has not been tempered or kind of like left out for a while, it will just crack. And immediately it is not clear ice. Now you've got a huge crack through it, and it kind of loses some of the appeal. I still think it's pretty cool even with a crack in it. I honestly don't care. But if you're trying to be extra, then you want to make sure that you have your ice out for at least a minute before you start pouring your cocktail into it, and then stirring to dilute. So let's do our old fashioned. So we are going to only use, again, this is an old fashioned, okay? Very little sugar, very little bitters. We're not doing it's about the alcohol that is in it, the same way that a regular old fashioned is. So we are going to be using our muertos. Okay, so we're using our muertos tequila, or not tequila, mezcal, my bad. Our muertos mezcal. And then I also have the holy grail of añejos. So this is a G4 extra añejo. I love this añejo. I highly, highly recommend it. It is expensive. When I bought it, it was not as expensive. I've had this bottle for quite some time because I really only use it for sipping or for like old fashions like this. But I want to say it's probably about $140 now. It was not that much. I think it was like $80 when I bought it. All of the good tequilas are just getting more and more and more expensive. So if you see it and you do want it, I can highly recommend it. Yes. Okay. So the cool thing about clear ice is all about directional freezing. And so, actually, I honestly should just have this out on the counter. Clear ice is all about directional freezing. And so you can, if you get like a cooler, you can absolutely make a huge block of ice, and then you just get like a serrated edged like bread knife, and you would kind of score, right? You score along all the sides that you're going to be like taking off kind of the bottom, and then you would get like you can use like an ice pick, but honestly anything that's like a wedge that you can kind of like tamp down into it, and then it will split where you've scored. And the way that clear ice works is it works through directional freezing. So any impurities will sink to the bottom, and then the pure water kind of like floats up at the top. And so if you have a big enough block, then anything will kind of sink, and you can kind of take whatever top layer off, and you can use that for your clear ice. And that's the way a lot of the systems, like clear ice, like systems with like the silicone inserts and stuff, that's kind of how all of them work. But you could just make a huge block of ice and then like cut off the bottom of it, and that will work as well. Okay, so let's do our syrup. We're gonna use about a teaspoon or 5 milliliters by volume of our syrup. So I'm gonna just like put that in, and then I'm gonna put some bitters on top of that. So I'm gonna go in with some mole bitters, or like if you find like chocolate, Mexican chocolate, mole, you're kind of looking for something in that vein for this cocktail. We're gonna do a couple dashes there. Okay. And then I lost my whisk earlier, so we're gonna have to grab another one. That's okay. So I just want to make sure that this is like kind of like all mixed in before I start pouring everything else in. Okay. So then goes in my ice. And then we're going to measure this out. Okay. And we're going to do doing 45 milliliters. So an ounce and a half of our Del Maguey, and we're going to do 15 milliliters. So half an ounce of our G4. So there's our extra añejo. So you're specifically looking for a mezcal and an extra añejo. Extra añejo has rested longer in its casks. It's going to have a lot more flavor, and it's just going to be all around a better blend between your mezcal and your tequila. Because typically a Oaxaca Old Fashioned will have a blend of mezcal and tequila. And it'll have just like a tad bit of tequila to kind of like tamp down a little bit of that mezcal flavor, so it's not just like straight mezcal. And so the way to kind of bridge that gap between like something that's like super crisp and citrusy and peppery and vegetal like a Blanco would be is to kind of come up into the aging of the tequila and have something that's a little bit closer in flavor to your mezcal. And then, okay, so what did I say? I said an ounce and a half.
I'm gonna say outside. Damn it, I have not been right yet.
And I am going to run out of this. I don't think I'm going to make it, which is why I have a second bottle. Yay!
What's the difference between the three?
Well, they'll have.
Huh?
Are those not the same 3 bottles?
No, they are not. These two are the same.
Okay.
And then this one is their, so this is Clásico and this is their De los Muertos.
What is that?
I will let you give them a whiff or a taste and you can see the difference.
I'm so sorry.
There you go. Okay, so now we're gonna just do that. And I'm going to just like take this little fork and we're just gonna kind of come around and give it a little bit of a mix and dilute it.
This one's not as smoky. What's this?
It's not as smoky, that's the Clásico. Yeah, the Muertos is smokier.
It's really good. Which one did you use for the?
The Muertos for the Oaxaca.
It was so good. Okay.
The Rainwater and the Blackberry Shrub one use the regular, but this one uses the Muertos. So there's your old fashioned. That is delicious. God, that's good. Okay. Dang, guys, I really wish you were here with me because these are really good. And we're encroaching on our last cocktail. So our last cocktail, you're going to want to stir that a little bit more for everybody else because it is strong, and I know that they don't sip on tequila the way that I do. The way that we do. Let me rephrase. Okay, so we've got one last cocktail to make. I'm going to rinse my shaker one last time. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? Yeah, you said you turned it off.
Wait. We'll direct you. Stand right here by this shelf. Take a sip and then tell us what you think. Just stand right here.
I already did that.
No.
Are you trying to focus it? Just leave it.
Oh my God! Wait, Carrie, the beauty YouTuber focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hand behind it.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then I have to do this.
The mascara.
I have to do this and tap on stuff to like make everything sound ASMR. That is like the thing that I cringe about now more than anything else. The number of times, even if somebody's like not showing, like not doing something specifically that is supposed to be like ASMR, why are we tapping on everything? Like, why are we doing that? I hate it. I hate it. I hate that. Okay, last cocktail. Let's do it. Okay, so this cocktail, like I said, is a copycat cocktail from a bar in Savannah. It is Artillery Bar. I highly recommend, if you are in Savannah, that you go to Artillery. Their cocktail program is absolutely fantastic. We were there for a weekend, and we were there 3 times in the weekend that we were there because it was just so damn good. And it is not on their current menu. They've probably changed their program and moved on to other things since then. But it was absolutely delicious, and I recreated it because I needed it at home, and we don't live in Savannah. So, okay. You seconding artillery. Beer belly artillery is so good. It's so good. Yeah, we are talking about makeup tutorials. We are.
Somebody's talking about makeup tutorials in the ASMR.
Wait, can we come over? You can.
Take a drink for free.
This is not your game.
Oh no.
Yeah, I love. Okay, so like the glass for the old fashioned. Before I make this cocktail, the glass for the old fashioned is like the glasses that you use for like catering, for like little pudding cups and things like that. It's the perfect size for an old fashioned. The ice usually fits like really well into these glasses because it is the same like width. The opening's the same width as like a normal cocktail, like a rocks glass, but it's not quite as tall. And so when you're doing something like an old fashioned, you have like 2.5, maybe 3 ounces of liquid in the entire thing. It just ends up being kind of like sad looking. And so I got 6-ounce glasses. And they're like supposed to be for like puddings and parfaits and things like that, or not parfaits, like panna cottas. And I used that for my old fashions because it just looks better. It just looks better. It looks better on a camera, in my pictures. It looks better when you hand it to somebody. So yeah, okay. So let's do this this cocktail. We are ready to go. We're going to need our Del Maguey Classico, wherever I left that, right here. Okay, so my cup. So we've got our Del Maguey Classico. We've got 2 ounces of this guy, 60 milliliters. Okay. And then we're gonna need 1.5 ounces of our shrub. Okay.
We're gonna walk out with like 6 grams between the two of us.
Which I literally have in a bowl, so this ought to be interesting.
Card, and then we'll have real fun together.
You don't even have to have a card. Just look at our menu, tell me what you want.
Wait,
I got you.
is this gonna
Okay. God, this is so good. Okay, so we've got our shrub, and now we've got one of the rarest things that I have in my kitchen. My liquor cabinet. I actually do have green chartreuse as well. I bought it before, and that's another thing, right? So you end up loving these things like Fortaleza, and now we're running into a situation where monks are no longer. They decided that they weren't going to be increasing their supply to meet demand of chartreuse. And so chartreuse has become also rare. But luckily, we have a very good liquor store in town that does keep it in stock. And so I have seen it on their shelves. And I have been surreptitiously pulling them off the shelves and buying them to keep them in stock for when it becomes even worse. Okay. So we need, how much of this do we need? It's not much. It is much. It is an ounce. Okay, so we're going to do 1 ounce of this. So there you go. We got 1 ounce of our chartreuse. And then 1/2 ounce of fresh lemon juice. Okay. And then we are going to be adding our bitters in. So we've got an aromatic bitters, and we have a Creole bitters, which I think just worked really well. I was messing around with a lot of different bitters for this cocktail, and I think the Creole and the aromatic just really make it sing. So we're gonna pour this in. I'm gonna get some ice going into my other side. Okay. Let's get our bitters into here. So we're gonna do 1 dash, which these are small jars, so not a lot comes out. So you're gonna see me shaking this a couple of times, and then 2 dashes of these. There we go. Of our aromatic was first, Creole was second, and now we're gonna go ahead and shake. And here we go. ASMR, yeah. Some of the tequilas I have are hard to find. That is That is true.
Where's the true banging of the glasses?
Banging of the glasses?
You gotta like. Are you a real bartender? If your shaker doesn't get stuck and you have to bang it against the countertop?
I just know what I'm doing.
She just got.
Wow, we all just got shamed.
She just quieted the table.
Yeah, fair. To be honest, it would always be a mixer in a glass jar.
Yeah.
So it
I don't want to
was
use this spoon.
just like,
I'm going to use my finger. I'm really sorry. All right, we're doing it. I'm in my house. I'm not at a bar.
it's so pretty.
I'm in my house. I'm not at a bar. You would use a spoon for this. I'm just trying to finish straining. There we go. All right, we strain out our ice. And now what we're going to do, and this is the fun part, and if you want to, I know you've gotten this far with me, this is online in the recipe. It is in the notes. There's a whole section. You could turn the syrup into a blackberry, sage, peppercorn, shrub syrup. And it's really, really nice. I did not do that today. I went with the simple situation. But this does get topped with sage as a garnish. It adds like a really nice, like earthy, woody, vegetal scent to it. And it's like super, super nice with the blackberries. So essentially what I'm going to do, this leaf is kind of a little meh, but I think it's the best one in the bunch. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap this sucker between my hands. So you're going to lay it down, okay, as like so. And then you're going to just like kind of clap. Whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you want me to come into, I can come into frame. Is that better? Okay. So you're just going to slap. And that's it. And then this gets put on top. And basically what that does, no, it's sage. So what that does is it's going to just release some of those flavors, and it's just really nice. It's just really nice. You don't want to like sage is a pretty tough herb in a way that like basil and kind of other stuff isn't. So like mint and basil and things that you have to kind of be careful muddling. Sage not so much. You can kind of give it that slap. You can release those oils. But yeah, and then it just floats. And like it's such a pretty presentation and it's so nice. And I'm gonna now take a sip of it. And that is delightful. That was the last cocktail of the day. You've managed to come through all 6 cocktails with me. Thank you so much for joining. 3 hours and 13 minutes. I thought it would be 3 hours, and that was pretty dang close. I'm gonna be honest. We went through all the mezcals, all the tequilas. Thank you. We went through all the mezcals, all the tequilas. We managed to make a classic margarita, a classic Paloma. We've got some really fun mezcal cocktails. This one in particular, our Blackberry Shrub cocktail. We also have something called the Rainwater, which uses rainwater Madeira along with the Mezcal and some grapefruit and lime. We had our Oaxaca Old Fashioned. And I am missing one somewhere in there. Am I missing one? Oh, and we made a tropical, we made our pineapple kind of tropical spicy marg. Yeah, why is it spicy marg? And I had a great time. Thank you so much for joining me in the Little Spoon Kitchen. Yes, thank you. I was about to say that. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, we do have several other videos. We've made some chocolate chip cookies. We've made gumbo. We've made dumplings. Go ahead and check out those videos. You can subscribe here so that you can come along. We do these once a month. I do put out stuff on my Instagram, letting everybody know with kind of countdown timers and things to let them know like what we're going to be making next. So you can go ahead and if you decide you want to cook along like you did today, or some of you did today, that you can go ahead and you can pick up those ingredients and then you can kind of come with me during the next month's video and the next month's live, and you can cook along. Next month, we are doing a nectarine crisp. It's going to be absolutely delicious. I'm very excited about it. And I also have, we have a website, alittlespoon.com. You can go there to check out not just these 6 recipes that we did today, but many, many more. There are no ads. You will love it. Please, love the idea that you don't need to scroll to find the recipe. You're welcome. I love it. That's how I wanted it. And so that's how I made sure that you guys get what you want. And then I also do have a Patreon. That's kind of how all of this is possible. So if you did learn something today, if you want some behind the scenes, we do monthly chats. I have a separate private Discord server that all of my Patreon members are a part of, and we kind of chat about food all the time. We take pictures, we talk about travel. It's a lot of fun. We're a good group. So if you want to join that, it's as low as $1 a month, up to you. Thank you very much for joining, and I will see you guys during the next cook-along. I'm blushing.